Welcome everybody to another edition of Worcester Council Theater 3000. Ooh, look at our background. Nice.
Yeah, I left it fire mode.
That's nice.
I love it. Hope if everybody tuned into the roast on Friday night, you had a good time. We raised $1,834 for Trans Lifeline.
Nuts.
So
Nuts.
Thank you so much, everybody, for helping us with that. I mean, I think it's like $1,850 because we got another $20 in donations on Instagram. We do have an open donation link on Instagram going right now at Woot Nanny Comedy. You can donate to Trans Lifeline if you missed it, or if you want to give some more, go to Woot Nanny Comedy. But yeah, great time. Everybody, I think, had a blast. Bill did a great job.
Oh, thank you. It was fucking awesome. It was so fucking sick.
Oh,
did you fucking good time?
Yeah, see, Bill said some crazy stuff on Friday, and now he's got a censor that's just managing kind of his speech.
That's right.
There was definitely one audible Bill.
That was yes. Everyone,
yeah.
Hey, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It's on Twitch, available for replay. You can also go to our YouTube and watch the whole thing for however long you want. I did watch it again, and there is a great somebody reacting to a Vietnam War joke that Bill made by calling him out by name.
Yeah, that one didn't go over like I thought it would, but it's okay. It's all right.
It went over great on the producer side of the room.
Yeah,
the three of us here and Shaun were dying laughing.
Some people,
there you go.
Some people just don't want to hear me extol the virtues of Ho Chi Minh's tactical mind. That's fine.
Bill, I gotta say, man, your lighting tonight is insane. This is like changing your whole vibe. Like
my light.
Your lighting in the room, you're just so bright. You look chipper. Like your skin looks great. Everything about this is wonderful.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome. My cat Gussie won't leave me alone. Gussie. Oh yeah. So I have a new microphone. I'm a new man, dude. I have a new microphone.
Sound incredible.
I got a pod track interface, which is perfect because you can load 4 samples onto it. So much fun.
The Zoom.
Whoa.
That's
the Zoom pod track. Yeah.
That's why I have one of those as well too, but it always fucks up with my computer.
You got to go Roadcaster, That's my brand of choice. Damn. Hell yeah. 5 marks.
Good for you.
Yeah, the White Room, they throw a good party, They did a great job. We appreciate them. Brendan and Trav, thank you guys so much for locking it down on the stream.
We had a blast.
We had a great night.
The video wasn't too jittery.
It was fine. I mean, it was low res was the only was our issue, but that's a tech issue. That's not a DP issue. But yeah, it was a blast. And now tonight we should have a blast as well because we're talking superblock, everybody.
Nice.
Mega City 1 is coming.
Kate Toomey read an article. She read an article about superblocks, and now she thinks that we can just do a trial. I don't know how you do a trial block.
Build a temporary superblock.
Just build a temporary block.
So the way I read it was she wants to cut off driving through one street. So my question to y'all is, where would you put it? Where would you cut off through traffic? Main Street. That would be gnarly.
290.
God. I have said for decades, hey, Hadoken, thank you so much. Resubscribe for 14 months. Nice. Thank you.
Blocks.
I think it would be very easy to do that for the entirety of the city of Boston. There's an arterial ring around the city that cars have to stop driving within.
Yeah.
And you figure out like allowances for like delivery trucks or on certain like sections and things like that, but for the most part everything is walking or mass transit. And
hear me out. we just built a physical ring around roughly 4 blocks of downtown Worcester. It's just lush lawn right now. It would be the perfect foundation to build a super block in the middle of the wall that's already there, just off of Green Street, Madison Street, Green Street.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Sorry, Woo Sox, but nobody cares. Anyways, baseball's
we can still do fireworks from the roof.
Make money.
So
it is it's just a stupid idea. Like, could you imagine the decades it would take to even like the community meetings for that alone? We would be here until at least 2047, just discussing proper population for the city of Worcester.
Right. Yeah. By the time they get it done, we won't even be like physically inhabiting bodies anymore. We'll be uploaded to the net. And it'll be like Kate Toomey will be like, I just downloaded an article.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Dude, I want Wally chairs. If I don't get Wally chairs, what's this all for?
What's a Wally chair?
From the movie Wally, where all the people were
in
their floating chairs.
Yeah.
Let's
just do full Wally. Fuck it. Full Wally.
Can we start with Idiocracy, just so we're like shitting ourselves on stream?
Brother, I hate to break it to you.
You're the only one.
Yeah. We already fucking did it.
Elon with the chainsaw was that moment. It was the super gun moment.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do Revolution probably. So should be fun, but tonight we don't have to. Tonight we just have to watch them. Probably they're gonna blaze through this meeting, right? Is there any like
I don't see anything holding us up, but let me open up my notes and see. There's a report on spring street sweeping. So
we should get a
4 hours,
5 hours. Yeah.
They're gonna enhanced interrogation, the new DPW coordinator.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Maybe we should try waterboarding. What if we waterboarded them? Maybe they'll get the streets picked up.
Yeah, the leaf blower thing. Oh, Bill, by the way, the George Russell impression during the roast was hitting. Absolutely hitting.
Thank you.
That was so good. Property.
We gotta take care of our properties.
I was very the crowd is not just our crowd. Like it's not just like viewers of the show. Very well represented, but it's not just viewers of the show. So I always am curious about like what's gonna hit and what isn't. And it feels like the meaner the better, which is like,
like people just like, people don't even know who you're being mean to. They just like to hear somebody be mean.
They just like the meanness. Yeah.
That was a good time. I had a blast.
It was so fun. We loved it. The leaf blower, I'm sure almost everyone will speak on the leaf blower. Thingy.
Comrade Fred in the petitions asking how much we give away every year total in TIF and TIE tax breaks to developers. So there you go.
Oh, that means we get extended Fred tonight too.
We get 3 minutes of Fred.
So we also need to get an extra 3 minutes of somebody explaining to Fred how taxes work.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that Sam Cedar clip from last week. We're trying to explain to the person that like federal agencies don't pay taxes, dude. Like
everyone in the gallery just holding up a red flag.
You're not paying anything. It's a decrease in what you're receiving. You fucking moron.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make this into like I think this could be a hit tweet, but like, have you ever heard the joke? Like people always say like, why is divorce so expensive? Because it's worth it. I think that's like talking about the like U.S. Postal Service. It's just be pithy about it, and then maybe we can have a hope of saving it. Because
big talk about
things are happening fast, everybody.
Leaf blowers are all over next door, so that should be the hallmark of BB.
Good.
Because
I only run my leaf blower all day to drown out all the chicken noises from my neighbors. So,
have you ever tried blowing the
something.
chickens with the leaf blower?
Brother, I've been trying to blow chickens my whole damn life.
I meant so they would scram, Brian. You know, no need to get dirty.
Well,
with
hey,
chickens.
whenever I do, they do.
This is how we get bird flu.
Got bird something. We're missing some folks tonight.
I have one more space on my soundboard, so I'm trying to find a clean clip of Joe Petty saying, "Can you wrap up your comments? Can you wrap up your comments?" Because that'd be fun to use, I think.
That would be very fun to have, especially if we start having guests on again.
Mm-hmm. That
I know of
So
one who
rude.
wants to come on
Oh,
offline.
a teaser.
Well, yeah, that and I don't
Get
wanna
excited,
blow the spot.
everybody.
If you're like, nah, I don't want to talk to that weasel.
It's a weasel, huh?
I
Sean
only know so
Connolly?
many weasels. How is this still going?
Extended version.
We love the stream. We
I
love the
the home
stream. Oh, we're not missing
Roll
people.
call.
Councilor Bergman? Here. Councilor Calorio?
Oh, I found one.
Here.
They were just smoking in the hallway.
Councilor King?
Here.
Councilor Merrill Carlson? Councilor Nguyen? Councilor Ojeda? Councilor Pasillo?
Here.
Councilor Russell? Here. Councilor Toomey?
All right, I have to
Here.
put
approve
this
the
thing in a
minutes.
different mode to get this
Favor?
onto here, so I will be back in a second.
Public participation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So according to Rule 39, items of public interest.
They have to
at a
read the
meeting of
rule
City
every week
Council,
now.
on the
It's so funny.
participation Portion of the agenda, the chair shall recognize any person seeking such recognition. For the purpose of addressing the city council, any eligible item on the agenda, both in person and remotely, any person who wishes to speak for more than one agenda item shall combine the testimony on all items to one appearance at the microphone.
Yeah.
Time for speaking shall not exceed 2 minutes for any one speaker or 30 minutes for all speakers.
Okay. Okay, we have public participation. We have a clock that the clerk will be running, so people always know where they are in the time. So let's see how that works out. So this is in the night to see how that works. So let's. So we have 2 minutes. So just your name.
Fitting that
So
the
your
first
residence
person to
item
use the
number?
clock is David Webb.
David Webb, City of Worcester. So you do start the moment someone starts talking. Not good to know. Okay. 7B, replacing yellow trash bags and green recycling bins with rolling trash bins with lids.
Oh yeah.
I think it's notable that a person, a constituent, someone from the community had to ask for this because you guys haven't been doing your jobs. Doing what? 7N and 7O. I also would love these reports. Thank you, Fred.
Please direct your comments to me.
8.3A, the payroll.
Fred is only there to hold motorcycle helmets.
People already, and as many of you may have noticed, the
Through the
Hey,
chair.
big brother,
majority of the top 25 and
throw some
names
sort of
are
signal
Worcester
up to
Police
us
Department officers that may not be the best use
that
of
no one would clock, but
Worcester's
we will
funds,
know.
Especially considering
Come
the fact
on,
that we do
John,
not
do
have
it.
actual public
Make it
Please.
involve
Say it.
nipples.
811.
Hey!
Yeah. Hey,
Now
give
give
us
us
a
a
flex.
nipple.
Do a flex. We need a Marco flex.
8.19A, homelessness.
Just
has
don't accidentally
increased in
punch the lady
Worcester.
to your right.
Everyone knows that. Has the city manager done anything about the bathrooms or any of the other requests? We've discussed a sanctioned encampment. Doesn't seem like anything has been moved forward there. 83A and B. I'm in support
I think it's a
of
shame that we don't get to
contracts
see the shot clock.
for the unified communication.
I know.
Right? Why wouldn't
It should
they
be
put
in
it
the
on camera?
corner.
To enhance communication and collaboration within the municipality. This is badly
We could do
needed and long
countdowns. That would be
overdue
really fun.
and should improve systems of communication. I hope it includes training to train the people who have maintained.
I like
these
this
systems
guy
that they
giving
can have
dad
for their
vibes
own
reading the
convenience.
Sunday paper.
Because otherwise,
Before.
them not knowing how to use it will be an excuse for them not being used.
John, are you
I'm
are
also
you
in
doing
support of
public
the
comment
6 years
tonight?
To ensure continuity of core infrastructure services. 9A through E and 9G through H. Worcester. needs
If
to
you
start
are
caring
at
about
the end of your
public
comments, just
transportation,
look
and
up
these two
into the
items may
camera.
Move things in the direction of progress. for the
Just
first
give
time.
us a little smolder into the camera.
Thank you.
Think we can make him crack while he's talking?
I hope he's not listening to us.
Are
while
your
he's
earphones
talking.
staying in
Speaking
while
of
you
names
talk?
to your residence and item number.
What a gentleman.
John Enriquillo, Worcester. Want to talk about 10B. So I'm actually grateful that this is on tonight about overtime issues for the police. In particular, I want to bring up the study that was done by the National Association of Police Chiefs, which determines that police officers after 80 hours are more subject to injury, they're more subject to bad decision-making, and they're more subject to discharge their weapon. In all the cases, from 2020 to 2024, where police officers discharged their weapon, more than a third of those discharges happened after 80 hours. These are reports that were done by police organizations, not by community organizations. So I recommend part of this report.
No, that's not Rick
determine
Rushton.
that officers shouldn't be working.
It does look
96
like Rick
hours a
Rushton,
week,
but it's like a third the
which
size
is
of
what
Rick
you're
Rushton.
currently allowing under the collective bargaining agreement, highest in the state, and one of the highest in the country. Those hours lead to worse police and community interactions. And so that's something
that guy
that
stole
should
John's
really
seat.
be considered, especially
Wow.
considering police organizations
good.
have done these studies.
I had to get the sign in.
Shows that to be true.
Oh,
We don't want
Becca's
our
gonna
police
be
officers
so
hurt,
pissed
right?
about
I
that.
don't think anybody here wants that to happen. And so we should
Beck, zoom
reduce
in on the
those
people.
hours back to 80, which is the normal standard around the country, and maybe even consider less, because the same study indicates that some of those discharged weapons happen at 74 hours, which makes a lot of sense, because if you're exhausted from working 12 and 14 and 15 and 16-hour shifts, driving a car around, your decision-making is going to be poor. In every single industry in the world,
You know, the
more
natural
hours you
evolution
work leads
of
to
this
worse
vote for change
decision-making.
sign war
And so we should
is
really be
a chest
considering that.
tattoo.
And if we don't consider that, then
It
you're
says vote
not
for
for the
change.
safety
Just
of
going to
our
start coming in
citizens.
testifying
You're
shirtless for the
actually
big vote
against
for
it
change
if
chest
you're
tattoo.
not for reducing their workload. So we should consider that in this petition. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Did
didn't
you do
see
it?
him doing
We
What's
gotta
your name,
cut
city
away.
residence, and
but I
address?
kind of fell on.
Good evening. My name is Ted Costas, resident of the city of Worcester.
Hey, Beck.
Um,
Changing camera angles.
I would like to
Yeah.
say that, first of all, I would approve 7N, 7O, 10D. We do need to get a study on the homelessness here in Worcester. It's very much needed. 7M, elderly flowers.
What kind of study?
To regulate that.
It's like a David Attenborough thing.
Difficult, and it's a seasonal item, basically for commercial grade
Yeah,
companies.
I want you to build a drone
Go out
and
there
drive it
doing
into their
maybe some of your
Yeah, I mean-
lawns.
camera, I guess. I don't know what I'm
If
trying to
it's
say.
if it's a loud noise, I think it's just going to last maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes tops, depending on the size of your property. So I would say no on that. 14A, with all due respect, I think that's something that might have to be discussed along with the,
Is he going to
on
make
the state
another
level.
handmade sign?
as it may be.
Yes, he
something that
is.
Governor Healy is talking about with Eversource and National Grid. 15D, parking permits along Hudson Street, Townsend Street, behind Park Avenue. I live on Blossom Street, which abuts Hudson Street.
Getting burned by the
And I
white
can tell you
balance.
Right now, there is no parking in the area, day or night. Well, day, you'll find some. Evening, overnight parking, you're not going to find it because they're just going to end up going to the side roads and creating another issue. So I would be opposed to that, and I believe that's all I could say. Thanks.
Thank you.
Can say?
Idola Hazard, City of Worcester. I'd like to commend Mayor Petty for bringing up the concern of jobs. for
Ah,
youth in the
respect.
summer. This is the time we have to start thinking about it. I
She doesn't
bring it
really
up
need that
very
headroom back. I
often.
agree with you.
We have to get the kids off the street, the young folks, and give them something constructive to do. And going to work is the best thing in the world. When we had model cities, we always put the kids to work.
John, it would be a shame
Put
if
them
you
to
needed
work
to
in
stretch and all of a
hospitals
sudden
and-
that sign was over.
Gophers, go get this, go get that. And
Nice
and it
job,
gives them
system.
money
Welcome
as well
here.
as getting them off the street. They worked for businesses,
Nice.
following people around, and learning different things to do, helped them get permanent jobs later. I think it's fantastic. That was 10C. 10G, WRTA, to get more bus shelters more bus stops.
You rep,
Get
you rep,
better
you rep.
bus routes and to appear in front of
Amazing.
the city
That was worth it.
council
That was
and
worth doing.
discuss these things, I think is
That was
You rep-
really good.
You rep.
Oh, it's cutting off though.
No, I know I can do that.
Oh, that was Bill. God damn, I thought that was real.
You're here. Don't you have petitions on?
It's a really clean sample.
We're gonna get petitions. You wrap up your comments.
I also want to
Hell
talk about
yeah.
some other items.
John, you can buy a WCT 3000 shirt available on our store.
Store's down. I gotta fix that.
Oh no, you can buy one soon.
Poor Fred.
I wanna make some local ones. I don't love the.
Yeah, we just need the commenters union shirt. But we should just put an order. We should just do an order for those. We should put out a pre-order for those. I think.
Just have them for sale at the gallery.
If you live in the inner city, you do hear leaf blowers kind of constantly. Where I'm in the Elm Park neighborhood, and
See what they're
there's a
doing?
lot of
They're trying to blur the
businesses,
background.
and they hire landscape companies, and you can watch
Are
them
they?
all day long. They're just out
The
there.
focal depth. They're doing the
You know, I
depth
mean,
of field.
The noise
Shortening.
That's
is one thing. I'm more
Change
concerned
is
with
looking a little
environmental
blurry.
impacts. You know, I mean,
Dude,
leaf
vote for
blowers,
change is
benzene,
fucking just whack,
formaldehyde,
dude.
these
What a
are all
fucking-
cancer-causing substances. And you know, I just feel like there has to be
What
some
an
sort of
annoying
level of
thing to do.
restraint on it. I mean, I've been woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning by
I'm all for
snow
being
removal when
antagonistic.
people using
It
leaf
just
blowers, so that's kind of outrageous. Or you know, you watch people in a parking lot and they're
Make it useful.
You know, in the middle of a drought and they're cleaning off the parking lot with a leaf blower, creating this huge dust storm. You know, so it maybe depends on where you live in the city, but
Keith
in my area,
Linares.
it's constant.
Yeah, Keith's good. Keith's a good
You know,
guy.
it really impacts
Yeah,
everybody.
vote for
Everybody
Keith
wants to do
D1.
creative, people want to study. Old people
Keith's
may be some
website is
sick
up.
because leaf blowers do
Keith
have,
made a
you know, 80 to 100 years
a
old,
one
and also,
a one Ireland
very high
post
pitch
on
sound, which
on
will
the parade
penetrate
day.
walls. It's
So
almost impossible to get away
That's
from
so
sound.
sick.
really just honing in on my
In addition to
interests.
that, I just think, you know, a lot of cities and towns in
Also,
the
he's
Commonwealth and in the
he's
country
the only
have put,
D1
like,
candidate that
reasonable
hasn't
controls on
taken
leaf
a
blowers, such as
donation
seasonal
from
plants. You know, you don't need
rapist
them in
John
summertime.
Manfredo.
Why do you need them in summertime? They're not during the
That's
heat,
right.
or in the
So-
wintertime when they're used for snow removal.
as much of a reason to support him as
And
any.
I also think that maybe the city should be looking at its own equipment because
Yeah,
What's
Keith
the-
should. Travis. Keith should make
hit me.
mustache campaign logo.
Yeah.
And
What about
gas power,
I must ask you for
maybe
my
we should be
vote
switching
for
to
your
gas.
vote for your vote. I
Whoa.
must
And
ask you
if
for
it's
your
up to
vote.
me, you know,
Well, that's
we
pretty
should stay on the
fucking
ground all
good.
the time.
That's pretty fucking good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fuck, I gotta make that.
Gonna risk totally unpopular take here, but I hate the anti-leaf blower people now.
Yeah, it's just yard work happens. Oh,
Sorry,
fuck.
fucking Highland Street is loud.
District 5, and my mom lives in District 3.
Like I can
would like to
understand
speak in favor of 7D tonight and
the
7N
gas powered
and O.
argument from the pollution
But I would like
standpoint. I
to
guess sort of,
oppose
but like
7M.
they're not
I'm
that
here
much
tonight to
quieter
ask
than
you to consider
electric
the
ones.
proposed,
I mean,
No.
louder than electric ones.
ban
And they're not
on,
that. I mean, 80
gas-powered leaf
decibels.
blowers,
A
especially
toilet
in
flushing
light
is
of
70
the
decibels.
challenges many of us face
Which I do
as the
constantly
sandwich
flush my toilet
generation.
outside.
Yeah, I mean,
As
thankfully, while you're on the
individuals who are
stream, you don't
juggling
have to
both
because you
raising
got the
our own
vacuum pipe there.
families
But the
and
vacuum
assisting
itself
elderly
is like 60
parents,
decibels. So, I mean, this
often
is
with property maintenance.
There's a lot of
We depend on gas-powered
AI that's going
leaf
into
blowers
covering
for
up the vacuum
efficiency and
sound.
practicality.
Good
Many of our elderly
fucking
parents
Christ.
who own houses in Worcester may no
can't.
longer have the physical
When
ability
I was
Zoom
helping
in on
my
the
friend
sign.
manage
with
large
landscape,
yards themselves, and as caregivers,
using
we
that
help
leaf
to
blower, it's the
maintain these
fucking sickest
properties.
shit ever.
Gas-powered
it's the
leaf
best.
blowers are often the most effective tool for getting their work done, especially given the larger properties and the limited range of electric
Next time it cuts
alternatives,
back over,
which
look at
often
David's
don't
sign
have the
with his two
power
crossed
or
out
battery
words.
life to
That's what I'm
tackle
saying.
the same tasks. A ban on these tools would place an added burden on families like mine who are already managing multiple responsibilities, from caregiving to work and raising
You wrap up your
children.
comments, please.
Additionally, small landscaping businesses
It's so
that
good,
serve our
Bill. It's
community
too convincing.
could be impacted. Increasing costs for homeowners.
He says it the
and
exact same way
reducing
every
service
time.
Availability. I urge
truly.
you to consider the impact that this would have on the sandwich generation, elderly homeowners, and local businesses. Perhaps we can find a solution that supports cleaner technology while also recognizing the practical realities many of us face. Also, I would like to take a point of privilege through the chair, just to let people know about on March 20th and March 23rd.
Okay. Thank you.
There will be a National Day of Action for the Postal Service.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
There was a dude out on Webster, not Webster, Mill Street today, right by the
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
McDonald's,
So the first
who
call-in
was just
user is the
cleaning
last four
trash.
digits,
He had like a
2276. I'm gonna try and meet the
tarp
resident now.
with spray
Please state your
painted
name,
that
city of residence,
he
and the
hates
item you're
litter,
calling on.
and he accepts donations.
Is that our
Good evening.
It
Can
wasn't.
everyone
I
hear
know
me?
who
Yes.
picks
Okay.
up Worcester. This guy.
I
was
don't.
my old-
My name is Mark.
Yeah.
So we got another. We have
Worcester,
another.
And I'm here to speak.
This guy doesn't
speak
do it for
on
social. He
item
just does it
7B,
for
regarding
The love of the
rolling
game.
bins. The yellow
It says,
trash
"Please
bags
don't litter."
with rolling trash
Wow.
bins. While I think it's a good option for residents to have, I don't believe it should be the only option. We do have a lot of properties here in Worcester that, for example, don't
DPW
have
broke
driveways.
my
Having to navigate
recycling bin clean in
a heavy
half
rolling bin
this morning.
downstairs or even
These
Useless.
motherfuckers.
embankments.
They
could
Casella
sometimes
hates
pose
recycling.
difficulty,
That's what it is.
particularly for elderly residents who might be able to navigate a single trash bag, but not something as large as a heavy rolling bin. In addition, having rolling bins, for the most part, need to be kept outside, and without a lock feature, there is a possibility that we could be increasing vermin in our communities if we rely solely on that. I do agree with the resident who put this petition forward that it should be an option, but I don't think it should be the only option. Thank you.
Does Casella take our trash and recycling, or is it just?
Of course. They end up in the
Is
same
it-
place.
Right. I just didn't know if it was different contractors for the two.
Oh, it actually might be.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Hello, my name is Ariel Timar Alvarez de Matifuen. I'm a District 4 resident of Worcester on Nipmuc territory.
But yeah, it all goes to the same place.
Of 7B and 7H. While
It brings
I'm
me
lucky
no
enough to be in an
joy to
apartment
it
that handles our trash,
to
seeing
say
as
that
one of my
I'm
neighbors has been
firmly
intense with the cost
anti-recycling.
and low quality of the bags.
It just doesn't
and
fucking
then
matter.
the ability to protect trash from winter animals. I agreed about multiple options though. Being able to have both better quality bags as well as bins with lids would be appreciated. And I would love to have more audible pedestrian crossing signals to help with accessibility. I'm excited to hear more about reports 8.4A and 8.19A from the city manager about special event permitting and homelessness in Worcester. We need to be doing a lot better for our unhoused neighbors, and being able to make it easier to provide special events for the city is a great help to our community organizers. I'd also like to be able to get a report on items 9E, and 10A.
The trash thing
regarding
is just
Florida's
kind of weird
progress
though,
with
Bill, in the
Vision
sense
Zero
that like
and what it would mean to be able to
it's like a
find
lot of things in
superblock.
Worcester where it's
Initially, the
impossible to
idea
get
of having
something
more
started,
spaces
and
in
then
the
once
city
it
where
is, it's
cars are not
impossible to
allowed
stop
is a
it.
huge
Like we
interest to me,
decided
as I've been to places
a
where
billion
cars are
years
not
ago
allowed
that
and
we're going
saw
to do
a
the stupid
huge
yellow
increase in
trash bag
pedestrians
thing
and
as a way
wheelchairs and
to
bikes.
offset the cost of trash
I'm not
service.
really interested in supporting 10B.
It
Police
could
are
just
already
be
big
something
enough
that's
to be able
levied
to
like
use
super
us
small
and grab their
dollar
bundle.
onto
And while I
property
appreciate where
taxes,
9B is coming
and
from
just
in
use
terms
your
of
own
getting
fucking trash
resources for
bags
decreasing
and
bills,
not be a
I
giant
think we just
nightmare
need to
for
either
everybody.
decentralize or work with decentralize or work with
But yeah,
utility
whatever.
providers to
We're
just
good at
lower our
regressive
bills.
stuff. That's better that
$500
way.
for electricity in a two-bedroom apartment kept at 69 and 70 degrees during the winter is absolute robbery. Finally, I'd like to thank
Whopper
Councilor Duda
robbery?
for bringing up reviewing the status of our shelters.
I
We
don't
need more
agree
better
with
shelters
Whopper
and better
robbery.
served ones, especially if this body's
Unless
not to solve
you're
the
doing
problem
it
of
for
homelessness in the
me,
city.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Thank you. One more speaker.
So Mayor, we have one more calling user number 1. Please state your name, city of residence.
Good evening.
Just your name and city of
Hello?
residence. Yeah, just your name and city of residence.
Certainly. My name is Christina Ann, and I'm a Worcester native. And I have two questions in regards to item 19L. Actually, if possible, I'd like to have these addressed to the newly sworn-in Chief of Police, Paul Saucier. In light of the recent DOJ report, could you tell me what actions shall be taken to protect the rights of the people and to stop any and all police officers who think they have authority to deprive citizens of their God-given rights? And I'd also like to know what has the newly sworn-in chief done as a 30-year Worcester police veteran to expose any gangster tactics within the department?
Why would a gangster expose the gangster tactics?
That's like Gangster 101.
So we have petitions. The first one is referred to the 7A, referred to the planning
Let's
board.
go, Fred. Let's
All
fucking
those in
go.
favor,
Oh, I'm
opposed,
so
ordered.
excited.
7B, for the Public Works, Julie
Mr.
Miller.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
Is Julie Miller here?
Mr. Chairman, could you send that to the administration, please?
Okay, send that to the administration. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 7C to 7J, we're going to refer to traffic and parking. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 7K, let's set a hearing date for April 1st. I'm sorry, 7K and 7L, set a hearing for April 1st, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. for condo locations on Moody Street and joint pole location on Taylor Street. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 7M, Margaret Ontario, request restrictions be set for use of gas-powered leaf blowers to limit the allowable decibel level or consider the complete ban of gas-powered leaf blowers.
Motion to file, please.
We have a motion to file. And also maybe get a report, just get a report to ask for what is the gas-powered leaf blowers limit to the decibel levels that we already enforce, I think. In the city.
But that's not
Okay, so
what
motion
Donna
to
said,
file.
is it?
Roll call.
What the fuck?
Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Donna.
Councilor Florio?
Yes.
Councilor Agia?
No.
Councilor King?
No.
Councilor Moro Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen? Councilor Ojeda?
No.
Councilor Pasillo?
No.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. And my order, just to get what are the allowable decibel levels on that for a report. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Mr. Chairman,
It's
can you repeat
filed.
that? I thought we just voted on a report.
Yeah, it has a separate motion.
Oh, we're off to a great fucking start.
We voted on
So
the
it's the
petition.
same thing, just asking for a report is what the new motion is,
Just what the decibel levels are.
related to those two.
There's no one
items.
here that can answer that question, so that there doesn't have to be a report on another agenda in the future.
Chair, sorry, point of order. I do believe the petitioner does have that information in her petition. So if the council has already voted to file this, it makes no sense to bring
Okay,
back anything.
I'll withdraw it
So
then.
I'd rather it go to urban tie, but clearly the council doesn't want to hear that.
Next, N, from
Fucking
Nathan
hell.
request City Council, request City Manager provide council with a report concerning how much money cannot be collected every year due to TIF agreements.
Fuck yeah.
No, Fred,
Let's go,
request
Fred.
City Council, request City Manager provide council with a report concerning tax exempt properties in the city.
Yeah. Brad, that she's my
Thank
counsel
you,
both for my
Fred Nathan
business
Worcester.
and for my home.
Obviously, TIFs have been going on for a very long time. And at some point in time, the city has gotten screwed and the taxpayers have gotten screwed. And I want to make a mention of an existence where the city gave somebody a TIF, some pharmaceutical company from Rhode Island that was supposed to develop the old land where the table talk ended up moving.
The table
and
talk.
they basically tied up the land for 10 years, only to have them not even build in Worcester. They ended up building down in Rhode Island. There was land that was held up for 10 years, and only
I think it'd be impossible to do the timing right on
because
this.
someone told them there. At some point, we have to know, if you councilors do not know specifically how much money is tied up on any given TIF, you should know it. And if you don't know it, that's either on you or on the city manager for not telling you. And as far as the Madison properties, let's face it, they're doing the same thing to Worcester that has been going on in Worcester. We go back to the Jimmy Soffin in the tower, and that was tied up for what, 10 years? At some point, we need to know. You need to know. And as for the tax exempt properties,
Does that mean anything to you guys, Jimmy Soffin?
let's face it, there is a lot of.
Joe, that's way too advanced. I don't think I can pull that off.
That there is over $1 billion in property that comes
Property.
under classification of tax exempt. And I also want to talk about the police overtime. I mean, let's face it. we don't have enough cops in the city because every time they put on a class and they get into the uniform, we have other cops retire.
Has anybody thought about deputizing Fred?
You're going to have to call in.
I think Fred
He
would do an
has.
absolutely amazing job watching construction workers
Or you're going to have to put another
fill
60
potholes.
cops.
I don't know if he's up there anymore, but remember the dancing cop that used to be up in P-Town when you like first got in downtown and just like directed traffic by dancing?
He was the best.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Fred was born
That
for.
many hours to protect the city. So I don't
What's
know what
up,
can
Gussie?
be done, but unfortunately,
But like
it
legit,
isn't
I like how Maine has people they pay to
What's up,
hold the
Gussie,
signs
little-
during.
look around out there.
Fred
Mr.
would
Mayor,
rule at that job.
and the acting city manager tonight. At some
He'd hold the
point,
sign the
we
wrong
need
way
to
and
find
cause
the
tons
money.
of accidents. We'd be so fucking entertaining at it.
Thank you.
He would just be constantly spinning it.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to file 7-0, and the reason for that is that this is already in economic development.
Can you wrap up your comments, please?
And it will be heard Thursday night at 5 o'clock.
Okay, so motion. Okay, so Thursday at 5 o'clock. The report's there.
7-0, that's let me see.
So motion 7-0 is to file.
Mr. Chairman, which one is that? 7-0.
7-0 is the request city manager to provide council with a report concerning the tax exempted properties in the city. So that report now sits in committee and is being heard on.
So Candy wants to see that filed.
So motion
The fuck?
to file. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 7N, we can send it to the city manager. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Communications to city manager.
Oh boy, hold on, I gotta feed Gussie. She needs a little bit of food.
Transfer information communication relative to the reappointment of Shaun Fisher to the License Commission, relative to the reappointment of Johanna Hampton Dance to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees, and also transmitting information relative to reappointments of Eric Stratton, Nick Giaccheroni, and Bryan Darty to the Parks and Rec Committee. So I thank you
Stratton.
for your service. This motion is to file. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. A, transmitting information communication relative to the 2024 gross payroll for the city of Worcester and school department employees. That's online if people want to look at that, so we can file that if we want, or.
Send that to MLO.
What's that?
Send that
Send
to
to
Ms.
MO.
Barbara.
We can send it to MO. MO? We can send it to MO. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transmitting information communication relative to special event permitting. And we can send that to ED if we'd like. And those in favor, opposed, so
Mr.
ordered.
Chairman,
I thought it was pretty,
ED?
or, I was thinking parks, but, yeah. What was that?
So, Mr. Chairman, I think Peter Dunn brought it forward, so it's up to the council, but.
Okay, we'll send the parks. All those in favor? Opposed, so ordered. Okay. Transmitting information communication over the chip seal pavement preservation report. Councilor Russell, I learned something new.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to congratulate the administration on this, the new commissioner and the director, Mr. Mello, took time to explain to me exactly what they're doing, and I for one, hope it works, because it could save us a lot of work repaving streets that are not in that bad of condition. And I think it could be a great cost saving, and more importantly, getting the job done soon and fast by doing this, and also recycling the product, because I think a big part of the product is recycled rubber. So I'm all in favor of it. I can't wait to see it work, and I hope it does work. I've asked all the questions about what work with the snow and plows and everything else, and I'm convinced that they've done their homework, so I look forward to it happening.
Sure. Councilor Pacillo, Councilor Merrill Carlson after Councilor Pacillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to echo my colleague, Councilor Russell. This is a really great program. The commissioner and Mr. Mello went over it with me in detail, and for any residents out there, if you type in chip seal management program into YouTube, you can see some really cool videos of other municipalities that do this. And I think one of the best parts about it, aside from the cost savings,
so upset with you,
is it typically takes around 4 hours for a road to be chip sealed, and you can drive on it as soon as it's done. So I just think this is a great program, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilor Merrill Carlson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Call me a chip seal.
I think as my
Because I'm barking for them damn potato
shared,
chips. You know what I'm saying?
DPW, has met with.
All right, what stupid shit are they talking about now?
Stealing chips from
Just
seals.
really want to say
Yeah.
how much I appreciate. I know that Council Russell and Council Pasillo, we've been on Public Works and struggling to get these lists in the different streets moving, and just the mere fact of having in the vicinity of 30 additional streets done throughout the city is a great thing. So I look forward to this, and I look forward to, as they pointed out to us, is this isn't something that's going to take, they pointed out that it's a week, but there's some streets that were left out there for, in some cases, 3-4 weeks. And I always think of Burncoat Street. So I love the idea of this program. So just want to say how much I appreciate the administration putting the money into this. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll send it to Public Works. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
They had the shamrock upside down. That's a
2025 spring sweeping program, which begins in April. File that. You want in Public Works? File. Okay. All those in favor? File. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transfer information communication relative to responsibilities of the Department of Public Works and Department of Transportation and Mobility. Council Russell.
Oh God! I hope this is fucking
Chair,
George
I
Russell's
would,
favorite topic.
Just like to ask a couple of brief questions.
Can you wrap up your comment?
This also goes to Public Works. If we want to take a closer look at it, we might have an extended conversation there. But on the
Oh, Georgeception alert!
We're gonna talk about some properties.
Oh, we should make it custom. That's that sting, and then it just says property.
How would you spell that?
I think you made custom sound effect, maybe. I don't know.
Or at least ask that question.
That's pretty good.
Maybe either one of the commissioners, just to make sure when they list the roles of the Public Works Committee or the Traffic and Parking Committee, this does not supersede any of the traditional roles that we've always had, does it? Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration, whoever would like to answer. If they have an answer, they can give me a report.
Commissioner.
Thank you. Through the chair to the councilor. So this does not in any way change the responsibilities of any of the council committees. It's identifying which of the two departments have a lead role in implementing those features.
All right,
What a stupid fucking question.
Sorry, send it to Public Works. All those in favor.
George has no idea what the government is or what it does, like in any way. He asks a toddler's questions.
11A, transmitting information communication of the municipality's pavement management program. Send that to Public Works. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Public Health and Human Services, transmitting information communication relative update on homelessness. Council Ojeda. Council Ojeda, go ahead. I think the doctor is getting ready to answer any questions.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I appreciate this report. Right here where it says, while the shelter provides essential services such as showers, meals, and case management, the city's overall shelter capacity remains inadequate. And not to say they're not doing, all that needs to be done. These numbers are increasing year after year, and so that's why I had asked for a report to see, what is going on inside these shelters and what we can do to continue to support these shelters. I know just recently a women's shelter was opened, and we need
Not
to
really,
continue,
Jess.
Trying to get ahead of this curve, where it seems like we're doing all we can, but I just want to make sure we try to be as efficient as possible. Through the chair to Dr. Castillo, if you could just give us a brief overview of some of this stuff as well.
Dr. Castillo.
So to the chair, to the counselor, yes, our numbers have been increasing. We have a backlog of patients, of clients that are in the shelters. and certainly have been looking to figure out how we increase the amounts of shelter, and sort of looking at other providers that may be able to do that, even having conversations with SMOC to figure out how we open up more shelters. I think at one point, you know, probably 2 years ago, what we wanted to do was have more transitional housing, and that is transitional housing or non-congregate.
What is this photographer guy here for?
It's just been incredible to house people. As you know,
we've seen them speak at public comment and also recording
and so there's a backlog of trying to get people there. So bringing
of some kind.
to the shelter,
not really sure.
Bringing medical care to the shelter, addiction care, which we have at the shelter, but still trying to get primary care, trying to stabilize people so that maybe we
all
can
right, I
have
think
a
I
better life,
got it
even if we find
figured
a
out. I
purpose to be
believe
able to
our
help people that are
new
important. I think we've also looked at
Local 69 Commenters Union Discord is now officially connected to the channel. Any and all subscribers should be able to access that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that'll be a new subscriber benefit. If you do stop subscribing, your ass gets booted from the Discord.
Oh, now you upload, you piece of shit.
And again, vulnerable populations that cannot
that looks beautiful.
Group is important to look at how we take
Yeah, so I updated our thumbnail tonight, and I updated our starting screen. It's gonna look like this now.
Gorgeous.
Really appreciative of all the work they're putting in the conversations we've been
Is David Webb really just moving around and trying to put his signs in? Oh my God, what a fucking dweeb, dude. Jesus Christ. So embarrassing.
Thank you.
I haven't seen him since public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Castile, and I know that Leah Bradley from CMHA is here as well.
Give him a minute. He's going to come rappelling down from the ceiling like Tom Cruise in the first Mission Impossible.
To keep getting these reports, to hear and to look at the numbers, the gap between heads,
So
the demand
it should be if you go into your Twitch channel setting or your Twitch settings, it should be under like our like subscriber benefits.
Particularly right now, it is really concerning. Reports from the federal government of cutting HUD staffing.
Or when you click on our channel,
really disappointed and disheartened,
where it lists what you
devastated
get from being a sub, it should be at the bottom of that list.
Council on Homelessness,
as a bonus benefit.
which has done a tremendous job to bring policy and solutions to some really difficult problems in communities have been decimated. So I just want to point out, and perhaps maybe invite Leah Bradley to the microphone after. Dr. Castile, could you point out for us in the report, I'm really interested in knowing two things. The racial and gender disparity and the overrepresentation of women and children, first of all, but specifically for BIPOC communities. And if you can just talk a little bit about what you're seeing in our shelters in terms of these particular populations that are most vulnerable, have been vulnerable for a long time, and will continue to be vulnerable, not just on homelessness, but on a slew of health and other disparities.
Dr. Castillo?
To the chair, to the counselor, I want to first start by saying that all inequities occur in communities of color. Both Black and brown communities have the highest level of any medical issue. Homelessness is part of that issue. So the numbers that you see the highest in proportion to the population in the city is Black and brown. And families are the same in that same situation.
Thank you, Dr. Castile. If I could ask, if you could go over the gap, I'm looking specifically at page 5. That's the gap in shelter beds that currently exist in Worcester. And I know CMHA does a really good job at talking about the seasonal peaks and valleys, homelessness. Clearly, we're going to have a hot summer, so those numbers are going to go up. But for the public that's listening, could you talk a little bit about what gap exists right now in terms of shelter beds?
that we don't have enough shelter beds for the amount of the population that we have. Partly, or 100% is due to the fact that we don't have the housing availabilities. As you know, probably in 2017, we said we were going to develop 103 units of housing. We've only developed to date 40 units of housing. The projects are still in the works, and they will be coming up in 2025 and 26, but that doesn't mean that the amount of homelessness doesn't increase. And
Will they? These were all announced in like 2018.
People going into the shelters for whatever reason, addiction, mental health, can't pay their rent. I mean, if you saw the the issues with rent are incredibly high. We can't access half of the funds that are available because it wouldn't last somebody to be able to get an apartment. Some people are, may have an apartment and they're paying X amount of dollars, and within 2 months they're going to be evicted because the landlord wants to increase the rent on that apartment, and that creates more homelessness.
Eric, I'm looking at it. Let me get back to you in a second.
Thank you, Dr. Castillo. What happens when the shelter, the RMV shelter that I think has sheltered upwards of, if I'm not wrong,
60,
upwards of 80 unduplicated individuals. What happens to those folks when that shelter closes? What do you foresee over the summer for these folks? Where are they going to go?
So usually the highest numbers are in the winter. Because obviously people can't be out in the winters, and so we see that during the summers, people are out in the encampments.
Your
I think the goal of
Twitch account to your Discord
try to figure out
account. If you click on that link, it'll tell you how to do it.
There's a report of where people go, that they may go to a friend's house, they may, double.
And then it should give you available
being able to get an apartment is something that is difficult.
Twitch channels that you're subscribed to, and then it'll just hit join. You'll hit join next to it.
It really is very critical for the public to understand that when we see unhoused folks out in the street, we tend to blame them a lot for their life circumstances. And this is a symptom of policy, of decades of policies that have neglected both deeply affordable housing, but also investing in folks who are unhoused. And I just want folks to know that even though in the winter our homelessness number peak, in the summer when we're going to have heat waves and a lot of people dispersing out in the woods or in areas where they can get some shade, that's not a reflection on us not doing the work. It's a reflection on the lack of permanent supportive housing, shelter beds, and affordable housing. I read in the CMHA report, speaking of permanent supportive housing, that the average stay in shelters is about 35 days.
That's the median.
That's the median length of stay. And the median length of stay is 3 days. And so when we
That's interesting.
out of shelters, we're not
Median 35, average 3.
Situations. Not us particularly, but the closure of shelters. And I do want to point out that I just read today that a person contacted me from the community really alarmed about new rules that seek to make Section 8 housing now even less.
No fucking way. Did he really snore himself awake?
We are heading into
While we're talking about homelessness, that's
into a crisis. I do want to ask you, Dr. Castillo, a question.
He's just the master. He's the master.
Publicly
Good
today, but
God,
with the traffic deaths
John, if
over
you
the
can
summer,
get
and as we
video
saw,
evidence of him falling
across our
asleep,
city,
please, for the love of fucking God.
And a lot of our
It doesn't have to be a good video.
I asked the city council to declare the traffic deaths and violence.
You can drop it totally anonymously.
Right. We won't. Don't send it here. We won't play it on the show tonight or anything like that.
Might catch you off guard, but
If
I would
anybody
like the
gets
city
it,
of Worcester to
please send it
declare
to us
right now
anonymously.
homelessness, and the lack of affordable housing in the
Might I
city
suggest
a
using the
public
app,
because that's
this
exactly what
website,
it is. It's a
Wormhole.
public safety and a public health emergency.
You can just
And the last
drop the
question that
link.
I had for you, Dr.
Just drop the
Castillo,
link.
if I
Don't
could
know
get
where it
that
came
in
from.
form of a motion.
No idea.
We have no idea where it came from.
Where do you foresee the construction of more permanent supportive housing? You talked about the fact that we have projects that have lingered for some time. What are some of the ways that we could spur more development in that area, whether that's through CDCs or nonprofits that particularly work in the area of permanent supportive housing. Are we taking any additional steps to attract developers to build those types of units for our residents?
Dr. Castillo?
To the chair, yes, and I know economic development is working on doing that, and so are we. I think all the
Councilors have a 5-minute buzzer that goes twice,
aware of
yeah.
that. I want to say that one of the things that we are working on is actually putting a public health campaign to talk about homelessness, and that homelessness is not just the issue of the city, but an issue of the entire city and the community. And one is to get rid of the stigma of people not understanding what the issue of homelessness is, but how do we...
Anyone ever wonder how Dr. Castillo puts up with this shit?
The public health things that we're trying to do is to provide some tiny homes for seniors.
That's a good question.
Is to really talk about homelessness, that it isn't, that we could do it as a city altogether, that we could raise the money.
They,
Organizations are willing to work
Dr.
with us to be
Castillo
able
just
to do
hired
that. We
somebody
just need
very
the,
interesting for Director of Public Health.
The builders and whoever wants to do it to be able to do it.
Tamara
Dr.
Lundy
Castillo, and my last motion
from
is going to
CHL.
be, given that we are heading into a pretty hot summer. You talked about homelessness as a public health crisis, and the intersection there is undeniable. I'd like for the city manager to come back to us with a report and an update on where we are with the request that people like myself and other folks in the front lines have been asking for, at least since the pandemic in 2020, about the public restrooms, about washing stations. We cannot afford to not provide the basic
Gio, I'll keep looking.
For folks, and it's been 5 years of folks asking for the basic structures of where folks can go. And so, given that I see with the closing of shelters, a lot of these folks being out in the street, not having access to water, a basic human right, or going to a bathroom, a basic human right, I'd like to ask for a report where we are, and if that is not happening, I'd like to know why it's not happening. Thank you, Dr. Castillo, and thank you, Leah Bradley from CNHA.
Thank you.
Oh, it's all so much better than all the other councilors.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a report that touches on so many challenges and successes in terms of working with this population. And sometimes successes are simply at the level of human to human, while we're continuing to challenge some of the policies that have come to the city of Worcester. Through the chair to the administration, if you could speak to the systemic barrier that was outlined in this report related to changes in state policy. Through the chair, how is that manifesting here in Worcester? What's the impact?
We're talking about the
Page 10, yeah.
Dr. Castillo?
Sorry. So I think through to the chair, to the council.
You're right, they are doing a
I think
depth
it's
perception
talking
thing.
about families, in particular, that that they're divided into levels depending on where they stand. Like
You can
1, 2,
see
and 3.
Mr. Nathan
Those are
quite
people
clearly, but
who
not
have,
Mr. Webb.
Small kids who may have a disability, that they actually have priority to a shelter, but it's now they've changed that to 6 months. It used to be 9 months, and that is now 6 months, and that also that the non-EA eligible families, or the ones that are level 4, are more
Someone should tell
difficult,
David,
but
you know,
we still
if they're
work
sitting
with
right
them.
next to
There's a
him,
group
that the city
here
is
that part of
actively
it is
censoring him.
CNHA who works with
And not
them
like his
on
words,
how
just
we
him.
how we solve some
His
of the
actual
issues here.
existence is being censored from the city record right now.
They go up to,
David Webb,
some of
they're
the,
censoring your
shelters
visage.
up in some of them are in Quincy. Those are really some of the issues, and that they are looking, they are, what's the word, that they're looking at their status, so they, of who they are, and they're evaluating each person to see if they have any criminal records or anything like that.
And how do these children get to school if they're in Quincy, through the chair? Do we know?
No, I don't.
Mr. Chairman, you know, there's so many challenges here. Capacity, insufficient to meet the demands of folks seeking shelter, lack of capacity for case management. We know it's through that engagement that we can help move the dial. Challenges on service gaps, targeted outreach, ID and documentation of individuals. And we have grants that are time restricted. I wanted to say that, you know, well, I wanted to ask, what is the staffing currently of folks working on the homeless issue in your department? To the chair.
Dr. Castillo.
The chair, to the counselor, we have we have one recovery coach, we have one outreach worker, one social worker, and we have one 20-hour position that we need to fill.
And 83 of the top 100
asking a
paid
lot of
employees are cops.
I would like to make a motion that we take a look at this department and determine whether or not there can be any expansion of person power there in an effort to be even more responsive. Through the chair to the administration, the monthly numbers, the monthly enrollment in street outreach, it seems as though there's a significant decline. If you could speak to that, it looks like from March of 2024, you know, and after that, there's a significant dip on page 7. If you could speak to what that actually means through the chair.
Dr. Castillo.
So the numbers have decreased from March of 2024 till now January of 2025. A lot of that is because most of the folks are not in encampments, and they're going into hopefully the overflow shelter that the numbers are decreasing. And as you know, the numbers in both shelters are high. Yeah.
Could you just restate that?
I said the numbers are lower because it's the winter times. Well, it's not really quite numbers.
Yeah, it's May, June, July, August, September,
Right.
October, November, December, January. So, you know, again, I'm not looking to catch you on anything. It just jumps out to me, and I'm wondering what that means. I'm wondering if it means, you know, that the population we're trying to serve is more mobile. Are they less responsive to our team, which is not an indictment of the team,
No.
maybe an indictment of circumstance and condition of those who are seeking, you know, shelter and seeking resources. So I just was wondering what that means. Mr. Chairman, the last question I have through the chair is, as relates to the senior population, can you speak to the numbers? Say there's a slight uptick, and we know that population is something that a population that needs to be served on the federal, state, and local level, just in general in terms of seniors. But with regards to folks unsheltered and the uptick, can you speak to what that experientially looks like for your folks that are working out there in the front lines?
To the chair,
Dr. Steele?
to the counselor, that we are seeing numbers of folks who are 65 and above, that those numbers have markedly increased in the community. And certainly every age group has increased, but even when we're talking about somebody who is homeless, it is not the same age as when we talk about a senior among us versus a senior who is homeless, who has chronic medical issues, as happens when people who are older. So we can consider 55 and up to be seniors. So you can see that the numbers overall in seniors, if you look at 55 and up, have certainly have increased.
That puts me uncomfortably close to the
Mr.
title of
Chairman, you know,
senior.
I concur that we are in the midst of a public health crisis related to the lack of housing, the homeless, and the unsheltered. So I support the initiative led by my colleague, Atel Hajiai. You know, I can tell by the eye test that, you know, we're certainly receiving more and more folks here in Worcester. And I'm not quite sure what the impact will be on our federal funding in the coming months. And so with regards specifically to the administration with the home ARPA funds that have to be expended by, I believe, 2026 or 2025, can you speak to how much monies is still available from that payment source through the chair?
Please.
Mr. Dunn?
Sure, through the chair to the councilor. I don't have the precise figure in front of me, but I do know through our request for proposals process that we did in January, we didn't get the volume of applications that would take up all of those funds. So we do intend on doing another round of that request for proposals. And just as a reminder, if folks don't know, the Home ARP program was enabled federally through the American Rescue Plan Act legislation, but I just wanted to clarify that it's not the state and local fiscal recovery funds that we received that had a deadline of December of 2024. So we do have, assuming nothing changes, until 2029 to spend those funds. So that's the reason why we prioritized those other funds that did have the December deadline and then moved quickly into these funds in January. But to your point, we don't have all of those funds allocated yet, so we'll be doing another request for proposals on that.
Okay, and with regards to that Home American Rescue Plan services and the tenant-based rental assistance, indicates here that those are underutilized, and we know that will leave folks without real-time access.
I made a Google Drive link for this report that they're talking about because it's so annoying to get it off the city website. So if anybody wants it, there it is.
Here on page 9.
Through the chair to the
It's a pretty detailed report. There's some interesting stuff in there.
Aspect of the report, just one thing that I would share that we tried to be thoughtful about when we did rental assistance funds under the state and local fiscal recovery funds. We partnered with 3 local housing agencies on that, including CMHA, who's here. And through the feedback that we got, and that's why this engagement is so critical in understanding what's working, what's not working, and what those gaps are. One of the requirements that we understood with the state RAFT program was that there had to be a notice to quit that had already been initiated. And at that process, once you get to that level of the process, it's kind of harder to work and cooperate with the landlords to bring that tenant current and have that level of cooperation and collaboration. So one of the things that we did with the local funds that we had and working with those agencies is we did not have that requirement of having it be at that notice to quit level. We tried to get folks current before it got to that level of a notice to quit. So those are the kinds of things that we try to strategize about. What are these kind of parameters of other state and federal resources? What can we do locally to try to address those and make sure that the program ultimately works better to prevent those evictions rather than some of the barriers that we've identified through those other traditional programs?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, the last piece is the lack of on-site clinical staff in shelters. Makes it extremely difficult to assess folks coming through there with a number of issues, comorbidity, dual diagnoses, and other sorts of challenges. Through chair to the administration, is that a state issue, a state funding issue in those shelters where they need more funding for such staff? Is that a non-city municipal matter through the chair?
There are no discrete regulations with shelters. And so it is one of the things that we are recommending is that to be able to provide those clinical services, those primary care service, we have engaged numerous folks to be able to go to the shelter. We opened up a clinic at SMOC, which the intention was that Family Health was going to provide that. As you know, the capacity for hospitals and health centers right now are having a tough time, so they were unable to do it, but we continue to do that. I think that one of the things that I've been trying to work on is to put regulations in the sense of what should be in a shelter, that healthcare primary care should be there, that clinical services, and with respect with behavioral health should be part of the process. The ratio of staff to clients is important to have. Again, to try to be able to stabilize people. If we could do all of that at a shelter, to be able to even provide jobs for people at a shelter and give them a head start would be the ideal. If we don't have the housing right now, we have to think otherwise of what are some of the things that we're doing in the shelters to be able to move, to get people into some form of getting housing, but these are the steps to get there.
Is that a municipal thing or a recommendation? Is that, like, what does that mean? I understand and appreciate the effort, but what does that actually mean?
It just means that those are the conversations that I've been having with people in the city to be able to provide those services.
So
I have spoken to the state. They don't have any regulations, and it's what we're doing. And we're lucky to have the Road to Care, who comes to provide services, and but it's not primary care, but it's addiction services, it's wound services, and some health care if needed, but it's not a primary care. We have the Spectrum van who provides methadone care for folks in the community, but we need more than that. And again, there's the primary care piece is a tough piece but in the long run, the cost of providing that kind of care serves people who are going into the emergency room, decreases the cost of that. Less people in the emergency room, which we know is an issue, and that behavioral health is an issue.
You're in your second 5.
Thank you. Lots of gaps, Mr. Chairman. Particularly interested in the clinical gap and the health responsiveness gap, Mr. Chairman. It's not clear to me who should be establishing that standard. I appreciate the discussion. I appreciate the efforts with the state, but clearly that we need to do more. And we have some funding issues on all 3 levels of government. So I recognize that as well. So I'll refrain from any motions at this time, and we'll be reaching out to Commissioner Castile with.
I didn't hear about the JFK assassination drop.
Perhaps we can we can push forward.
I am intrigued.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Was there nothing to it?
It literally dropped 19 minutes ago.
Oh.
There's 8. I'm reading the New York Post.
80,000 pages.
80,000 pages. That doesn't mean they're good pages, but Trump is keeping the Zapruder film for himself, I see. It's all just paper documents.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, this ought to be fucking good.
I just want to thank Dr. Can you wrap up your comments, please? For the report. Can you wrap up your comments, please? All the questions have been asked in the emergencies that the city is definitely in emergency status on this. Can you wrap up your comments, please? Beds, the report, 180 beds, and we had 260 total bed count. So we have a deficiency, but the only way we can get out of this too is more housing in the city of Worcester, and
It's
along
not
with more
fucking. Oh my god.
services. And I know Oriole Drive is probably, I would say, is a year away. And we have the tiny houses on Stafford Street. Which, do you have an update on that? Do you know where that is, Dr. Castile, or anybody? Or?
It's in the fucking report, Joe.
To the mayor, to the council. You're not a counselor anymore. No, I don't know. I'm not. But yes, probably 2026 is what we're looking at for most of them. Even probably Oriole Drive in the same way. I mean, we're hoping the end of 2025, but we may be looking at.
How many of them are there, Bill?
Those projects have been in the works for years. Too.
What do you, how many what?
So it does take a long time.
The tiny houses, how many of them are there?
And as has been mentioned, about the federal government,
I think it's just 21.
In the future.
Okay.
So these are big concerns.
I've been thinking about this for the last couple of weeks. I was looking at, like, Memorial Hospital is, we're roughly between like 6,000 and 7,000 live births per year.
Affordable housing units coming online.
And just in relation to the amount of housing that's built overall, like even though our number of live births is declining significantly, like if we're not bringing online every year as many units as would be represented by live births, then we're still falling short. I'm sure there'll be a wonderful 21 units of housing, but
20 at Stafford.
20 in Stafford.
Oh, my bad. It's just 20.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure they're gonna be great, but
yeah, it's pretty cool that just building enough public housing to meet the housing needs is totally off the table and has been since like the 1970s.
Yeah, no, totally. That's yeah. But it just, again, regardless of what your approach is, like from like what the overall solution is, just from like a housing numbers like perspective, like these cats are celebrating themselves pretty fucking consistently for the amount of housing we're building.
try to make.
And not a single year goes by where we're building as many houses as we're building people.
That was very helpful, Joe.
Can you wrap up your comments, please?
Damn, having a soundboard fucking is so fucking sick. It's so fucking sick. I'm gonna go my.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick motion. A motion that the administration consider identifying funding via an earmark for additional services for this population, Mr. Chairman. You know, we have a municipal operations committee that's also about the governmental affairs pertaining to state, federal, and local government. And traditionally, sometimes we're not in the loop always on earmarks, and perhaps we can work with our elected delegation to take a look at this, because this is a challenge that continues to grow here in the city of Worcester, and that would be the motion. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to, so the motions, all those in favor of all the motions being provided for tonight, all those in favor, opposed, so ordered. We'll send this to economic development.
What? Why would you send this to economic development? There's a public health committee.
Public health.
Public health?
Okay.
Okay. Is that
All
what
right.
this was? I'm sorry.
Jesus
Send this to public health.
Christ.
All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay.
I would be so much better as a city councilor than this fucking guy. And I don't even want to do that. He wants to do it so bad. He's been doing it for a fucking decade. Oh, God, I hate him.
Oh, B. Okay.
He's
we
such
are
a
on,
fucking
8.19B,
little...
Transferring information communication relative to the educational efforts of tobacco stores provide to customers. Send out to public health. Councilor Ojeda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is some really good information. I actually did a tobacco.
Oh,
inspection
no.
along
Louis Ojeda
last
talking
week.
about tobacco sales.
It was cool. It was good to see that.
We're in for it.
The two places I went to. I was hoping
He gets
to make
heated.
More, but obviously very busy. To see that, most importantly, they are following. They're in compliance. They're following. The signs and things that need to be posted. So I really appreciate that. I did tell the owners I appreciate that. I think that's important. But one thing the report does say is that it is inconsistent across locations. Few retailers actively engage customers in discussions about nicotine addiction or its health risks. And then also, not much information is provided as educational materials. Again, I believe that's something that the Department of Public Health is working on. If they like to come up to the chair and explain some of those things, that would be great.
Can you imagine if the guy at the convenience
the
store
chair,
had to say something like that?
Counselor, I would like to introduce one of our amazing public health folks who does all the tobacco inspections. This is Kyle O'Connor.
Sir O'Connor.
Thank you, Dr. Castile. To the chair, to the councilor, the Division of Public Health in the City of Worcester conducted a review in the response to the City Council order to assess the educational efforts tobacco retailers provide their customers. The review found that while the compliance with state-mandated signage is generally high, it is sometimes inconsistent. Few retailers actively engage customers in discussions regarding the nicotine addiction, cessation resources, or health risks of tobacco products. Some stores do provide educational materials, but these resources are not always prominently displayed or kept up to date. Tobacco retailers are legally required to display specific signage, including minimum age notices, cessation resource information, flavored ban notices, and secondhand smoke warnings. Additionally, all tobacco products must have federally mandated health warnings about the risks of smoking, vaping, and nicotine use. To support compliance, the Worcester Division of Public Health conducts retail education visits to reinforce signage requirements and provide guidance. All required signage is provided free of charge, and retailers are usually not fined if they're missing or they need replaced signage. Instead, the replacement signs are offered along with assistance of proper placement free of charge provided by the division.
Whose nephew is this?
Follow-up visits are then conducted.
This guy has such nephew energy. Like, is he Mike Trainor's nephew? You know, like
To the chair, to
Tim McGurthy's nephew?
Yeah. Can you just let me know or let us know some of the, I guess the difficulties or issues you may run into where some store owners aren't supposed to be selling certain items, and what type of fines are there, or if there aren't any?
To the chair, to the counselor. The things I'm seeing mostly in tobacco retail education, tobacco stores are improper signage, which can be rectified through free signage. However, products that are being sold, this includes flavored products that are banned in the state of Massachusetts. We are still finding them sometimes being sold under the table in various retail locations. That is a state violation, so that would follow the state structure.
Where?
And suspension. The first violation.
Can you tell us
would be
which
$1,000.
ones?
Second, $2,000 with a 7-day suspension. Third violation is $5,000 with a 30-day suspension, and that continues with the Board of Health as well if they continue to violate.
Okay, thank you. And through the chair, has there been times where you entered some of these retailers and they've sold items that they're not supposed to be selling? And what does that look like? Are they hit with a fine even though they're permitted to sell milk, water, food, or whatever it may be, but then you find the fact that they may be selling some nicotine products that they're not allowed to be selling? What happens then?
To the chair, to the counselor. So when that happens, a lot of these stores sometimes have their permits revoked already because of consistent violation of these tobacco regulations. So in that case, we serve them a cease and desist if they do not have a license at all. That includes a $300 fine. And if it continues, we bring them to court with a criminal complaint. And if it gets to that point, sometimes the court orders them to revoke their business license.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I look forward to
Through the chair, through the chair to the counselor, the house rules are you get one re-rack
and this is not about me.
and no rebuttals. Thank you.
It's at the end of the day, making sure these business owners are just doing right by our youth.
You must say an Arnold Schwarzenegger kill line before you shoot for the last cup.
Do it now.
Being able to put it in the face of our children, of our youth at a young age, who we're dealing with this.
If I was a counselor, I'd be like, through the chair to Kyle. Which ones sell Newports? Which ones sell Newport menthols? Can you tell us so that we can step up enforcement action? So we can totally stop them?
To Kyle, tobacco purchase specialist. I just want to know when it comes to the vaping, what ages are we generally seeing kids starting or anyone starting to vape?
Could you imagine walking into a packy and having the person that runs the packy tell you about the harms of alcohol before you buy? This is such a ridiculous request. I know what I'm doing to myself. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, everyone would just be like, shut up, loser.
Distributed by big tobacco companies.
I roll my own cigarettes, so I go see a dude every couple weeks. And we have a good thing going. I barely have to talk to him. I could just point. I buy my stuff. If he told me how bad smoking was, I'd stop going there.
And they don't really have the urge to try the basic clear or tobacco flavored vapes. So we have seen a decrease in that. And the Division of Public Health in the city of Worcester.
What's the over/under on this tobacco prevention specialist popping a Zin now and again?
He has one in now.
I'm gonna say it's pretty. Yeah, that'd be awesome if he had a Zin in right now.
With us, my goal isn't to fine and suspend all these stores.
It'd be rad if he pulled out like just a Mountain Dew bottle out of his pocket and spit some in, capped it back up and shoved it. Just kept on going.
And maybe I didn't say the question correctly.
Kids still pack a lip, right?
Do we know an average age?
Yeah, isn't that what Zin is?
Is it? I've never had one. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's not actually tobacco. It's just nicotine that's in usually like a wood chip, like some sort of a whatever. Like some of them are like wood chips, some of them are like a fiber. Just releases the nicotine.
And these are the things that actually are the causes of addiction later on when we see that kids are starting to use. Whether
I would venture to say about probably 30 to 40% of that council chamber right now is packing a dinger.
Okay, thank Thank you. I just want that to be
So we just heard Matty Castile say that the city has one addiction specialist.
So again, it's just creating some more of these
And we also have
having
this guy being the tobacco reduction task force, whatever his title is. Like, could we just have like 2 recovery coaches instead? Like, what the hell? Whatever. I'm glad that somebody's nephew has a nice job. That's great.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
We could just sell Ibogaine at all the pharmacies.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, through you to.
What's that?
Our,
Ibogaine?
tobacco specialist.
Yeah.
That is it's actually a drug that is like, it's a mild hallucinogen, but it's got like an incredible track record of basically being a cure for addiction.
When you talk about the
Interesting.
inconsistencies, which we certainly.
And it's a
also-
hallucinogen. I'll try it.
It's also what back during the 1972 presidential election, Edward Muskie dropped out of the race in the primary under suspicions of, well, he actually did have like mental health issues and I think he was going through a terrible divorce and whatnot. But Hunter S. Thompson started this rumor that he was being followed around on the campaign trail by a Brazilian witch doctor who was administering Ibogaine to him every night. But the rumor actually took off. There's this great interview after the election where like Hunter S. Thompson's asked about the rumor. Like, yeah, I started the rumor. The rumor is totally true.
The regulations, I explain to them kind of all the steps that they need to go through to be in compliance, and that includes signage. If I don't see proper signage or if it's not properly displayed, I always bring copies with me.
See, Gio still thinks Ed Muskie is related, is on Ibogaine.
If I do see things that are not in compliance, that is the one I would.
Could you guys imagine this kid going into the tobacco shop and be like, "Excuse me, sir, your signs aren't displayed 6 inches above the window."
Kid goes in with a fucking police escort.
Attend maybe a monthly meeting if they have questions about the regulations, if they want to know.
Hi, Mr. Steve. I have to go talk to the store owners again. Can you follow me?
That's the time when they can come either on Zoom or in person.
Sorry, Officer Steve.
Free education. That way we're all in compliance.
That's great. The other question that I had is, how many tobacco facilities do we have in the city currently?
Oh my
Through
fucking
the
god.
chair to
Tobacco facilities.
So through the chair to the councilor, there's a cap in the city of Worcester of 235 retailers. We are currently not at that cap. Last time I checked, I believe it's 223 or 224. So there are some permits.
Better get in fast, boys.
However, the 500.
I have a podcast idea. I smoke cigarettes from all 224 places.
Any new retailer from opening a tobacco permit that's within 500 feet of an existing tobacco retailer. So that regulation has deemed.
Have I told you guys about my idea for a project of reviewing every restaurant in Worcester?
Oh yeah.
Prohibits the opening of a new store.
I really want to get to that, especially because I think we'd have to call it Eating Out Worcester.
Oh my god, that needs to happen. That's just its own show, Bryan.
Yeah, we should do it. I already parked on the Instagram handle, so.
Good.
Eating out.
That's too good. Oh, Bill, I need you to write theme music for us. For if we can just record like a minute or 2 minute snippet that we can play and repeat, then we don't have to worry about any type of proper or IP claims.
Okay.
Even if it's just you noodling on the steel guitar or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'll write like a pop song, like with Katy Perry, like
Counselor,
big.
so
I got one in my
In
head.
that instance, if that was a new,
I love this.
a new liquor store,
Here you go,
they would
everybody.
be denied that permit.
Put it in the chat.
All right.
Yeah,
Pony
drop
up.
the Venmo in the chat.
Pony
See how much
up.
we can get.
They would be grandfathered into the.
I
regulation
support
as
this.
those,
Even though it gets us all on the news, you know what I mean?
Tifa, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Bought a old store that was in a business
That would
or the
be,
owner was selling it,
but
they
that
could then
keeps the
apply
show
for a new
evergreen.
permit
That
with
means
the
you never have to end the show.
Public health, and they would be grandfathered in.
Hey,
So,
Diablo,
do
thanks
a
for
new store, new owner inspection to make
resubscribing.
sure that the new owner knows the regulations, they have the proper signage, they're in compliance. But if it was a new store, they would be denied due to that 500-foot density regulation.
And the last question I have through the chair is,
So I think
anybody got any smokes?
so you spoke a few times
I
about
think the issue with trying to
as a city find
there's like a 48-hour sometimes apparently like lag in it, like connecting correctly.
To the chair.
But if it's not working and anyone is trying to connect,
of fines that we charge our
disconnect
Worcester
your
tobacco
Twitch
retailers.
from your Discord and your
This year,
Discord
I
from your
believe
Twitch, and then
I've
reconnect them, and it should come through.
As I said, these first couple
Computers
months.
are
This is the guy who actually issues the citations for selling tobacco to minors. Could you imagine
That's
this
what it
kid
sounds
coming
like.
in?
That's what I'm saying.
That's when I would issue the
Do they use
Some
him
of
for
these shops
things
are
too?
connected.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi,
Hello,
sir.
Do you have the flour?
Reported. We're on 8.26A. Recommend adoption of amendment to the municipality sewer connection fee.
2 cigarettes, please.
Motion is to advertise.
Is there any place
I would
in
like to buy
Worcester
your
that-
finest Lucy.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick
Yeah, I was going to say,
question
anyone that
for
still
you,
sells
Mr.
Lucy's
McGrath, you
in
are
Worcester?
always Here. I read the report.
I'm
I just
sure.
want to make sure this is not changing any of
It-
that
It's
sewer connection
certainly not as
Vault
open as it
boy.
used to be.
or thresholds for those, is it?
That was my favorite.
Vault boy, this is exactly what he looks like.
It's simply moving the funds into a
That's awesome.
designated-
Yeah, that's great.
Motion is to advertise.
We got
Man, I
Vault
wish
Boy
that-
over here
Councilor Bergen?
going to
Yes.
convenience
Councilor
stores,
Correa?
getting their business.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Just going into Pip Boy view.
Councilor
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Lucy's.
Councilor
Yeah.
Ada? Yes. Councilor Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
He sees
Mayor Petty?
like vapes and he
Yes.
gets a little rad
B,
ticker.
transmitting information communication of the
Plus
extent
5
and impact of
rads.
federal funding of the city of Worcester and Worcester Public Schools.
Can we take that to ED, please?
Yeah, he's going to talk about it.
You try and buy cigarettes, the mysterious stranger pops out and blows your head off.
Sticker Giant is the one I use, Jess.
Mayor Petty.
No, thank you, Mr.
They're
Chairman.
the
That's
they're the
what
not
thank you
canceled
for
company,
asking
right?
support last week.
Right.
Council King's
Mhm.
similar.
I believe they're women owned.
So
American
Yeah.
made.
Oh,
combined,
they're
the
pretty
Worcester
great.
Schools in the city of Worcester, it's about $75 to $100 million in any given year that we get federal funding for. So that's an important number to remember. And if you talk the ARPA money on top of this, we have another $100 or $200 million on that. So, so it's important that we do track this. Mr. McGurthy, my understanding is you haven't seen any impacts from Washington as far as any funding cuts.
What is that?
Coming to the city of Worcester, even though the schools, I think it's hard to track this.
What was it? Was it Sticker Mule? Was that the one that was?
Yeah.
The big one that got the guy went full MAGA in it for no reason and it just destroyed the company.
He got
It was
so
right after-
jacked up when Trump got
It was
shot.
right after the attempt. Yeah.
He sent an unhinged email. It was like 4,000 words. And he's like, listen, I got to be honest with you. I fucking love Trump. It was so cool.
He was like, you can put your money wherever you want. This country's, but I'm putting it behind Trump, and I hope you do too.
And everyone went, okay, bye, stickers.
They lost like
Through the chair, that's
30,000
correct. And as
followers
you
in a
know,
day.
It's day to day as we try to understand where this will.
See where they're at right
go.
now. They're probably like way
Most
up.
of our grants are all under contract.
They've
funds
removed
have been
him from
transferred
all
back
the
and forth from
marketing,
federal government to
and
the
they're
city at
just
various
running
points in time.
crazy ass
So we're
deals.
hopeful they would
So like if you have shitty ethics and you don't care, go get some crazy deals from Sticker Mule because they're trying to give away stickers to improve their.
Through the chair.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
absolutely
there's still
do
four-
Grants or reimbursement.
there's still 400
The American Rescue
416,000
Plan Act
followers.
is actually a unique exception where the funds were distributed to the city up front, but in most cases, our programs are based on reimbursement.
So we get reimbursed after the fiscal year for all these?
Through the chair, once we outlay the funds, then we submit to the federal government to get
So
that
it could be 2
reimbursement.
months ago, you already submitted, depending on what.
It's
grant
almost
it
an
is.
ongoing basis as we
Okay.
need the funds.
So some of these would be getting the funds in
Oh.
shortly if you already haven't gotten them in earlier. Okay, thank you.
I don't believe there are Worcester Suck shirts at the video store. Are there, Bill?
No, I only have a few shirts left. I have put in for a new order. They will be coming in soon. A very fun design. I don't want to spoil it yet,
Right.
but Travis knows. Those will be coming in hopefully this week because I have the what is it called? Punk Rock Flea Market next Friday. That's gonna be fun. So I hope I get my new merch in before then, or else what's the point? So we'll see.
Sell it at the studio. I want to build out our clothing collection at the studio.
Cool. Yeah, I can bring some stuff by.
Fuck yeah.
We are on. We put that education committee.
Thinking about making a bunch of custom Floaty Friends shirts and
You're
stuff.
on 8.33A. Recommend adoption of an order authorized the city of Worcester to enter into contract or contracts related to Unified Communications Project.
What color are the new shirts, Bill? Inquiring minds want to know. Can you give that away?
Yes, black with 4-color screen print.
Wowie, wow.
These ones are going to be deluxe.
They're
They're going to be the best. They're going to be the best Worcester sex shirts you've ever seen.
I may smoke too much weed because I honestly don't remember what I did.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Well, then it'll be a surprise to you too, brother.
I'm here with you, old chat. It's going to be real fun.
Priscilla?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes, 8.35A through I, 8.36A through E, 8.37A and B. We can take those quickly on the roll call. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman? Yes. Councilor Colorio?
Yes.
Councilor Agie?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Are they contracted to
Councilor
only
Ian?
drink
Councilor
Polar
Hare?
products?
Councilor Basillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
I think they have them available.
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes, Chairman's orders 9A to 9K. Motion is to adopt. Okay, so we'll vote on 9A. Motion is to adopt. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Councilor Bergman recused himself. Okay, 9B.
So it's out of the
9K.
chamber.
Motion is to adopt. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. If you don't mind, maybe we have, before we go to orders, mind if we go to the city auditor's report, since he's here? And, so, transmitting single audit report for the year ended June 30th, 2024, required by the U.S. Office of Management and Budget, conducted by a certified public accounting of Clifton, Larson, and Allen, in accordance with OBM's uniform guidance. Any questions, or we can send that to MO? All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Oh, I do remember what I did. These shirts are going to rule. Holy shit. I did that back in December.
Okay, you guys here for anything?
For what that's worth. That was 3 whole months ago.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go back to the orders. First order, request the man provide council the report concerning the feasibility of creating a trial superblock in the city, which the area of urban
Here we
planning
go.
that is bounded by arterial roads and typically is the size of a multiple traditional size city block. Councilor Toomey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, for a long time, have talked about walkable cities, and
I'm sure you have, Kate.
Gosh, for more than a decade now, I think. And in Barcelona, Spain, they really did a major effort on this. And other European cities have areas in their cities where they do block off areas to traffic to encourage pedestrian use. And I can tell you that recently when I was in Ireland, it was just amazing how vibrant it was, because restaurants were able to extend their, which we've done during the summer in some areas, extend their restaurants out onto the street and sidewalk, and encourage pedestrians to walk up and down. It, from what I understand, it also encourages economic development in those areas as well. Locally, Philly, in Rittenhouse Row, they have 5 blocks they're working on. There are small pilots in Vancouver, Madison, Alexandria. Some of them are only over a certain amount of time, 4 weeks. New York, I know they're going to be doing 20 blocks on Fifth Ave permanently. And I'm looking at engaging the community in discussions about what this might mean. There are some ways to do it with temporary structures, with planters and trees. We always talk about some of those areas of the city where there's more heat than is necessary, and we could certainly consider
more heat,
providing
like urban
more
heat
heat than
to
is
cool
necessary.
down those areas and to encourage
I understand what her
neighborhood
point is.
community involvement and enjoying their neighborhood. So I'm looking at having a discussion about this, looking forward to the administration coming back with a report about what we could see, and I hope that my colleagues will support this. Thank you.
Motion is not to see manager.
Millbury or Harding. That's what streets I would close down.
City manager requests police chief provide council with an update concerning the police overtime.
Yeah.
Details.
Harding would be good. Yeah.
Potential solutions, address the needs of the
But just
department.
surround Kate's house with
Thank
trees.
you, Mr. Chair. I know
And
there's been a
bollards.
discussion
And bags of
lately, and I
cement.
think it's important that
Yeah.
we
And
have a
Jaguars.
discussion at public safety. There are indeed many challenges, as has been reported and people have mentioned tonight. We have fewer police officers, which is part of the
Mill Street
reason
would
why
be
we have
awesome.
extended overtime.
I mean, if
So
you
I
get
certainly
a few
look forward
more,
to the chief coming back and having
like,
a robust conversation about how we can
I think like
problem solve
from
and, work out
like a stretch of Main
solutions to
Street
this.
could be really good, like down like between
Send that to the manager.
like Dead Horse and Armsby, basically.
Oh, you'd pick the courthouse side?
Council
That's
report
interesting.
concerning plans for opportunities
I mean,
available
you could do the other side
during
too.
summer months.
Even just around City Hall. I mean, like front Franklin and whatever, is that Portland that's on the backside of the common?
Courthouse already on a given day has the most pedestrian foot traffic
Yeah, that's fair.
of like anywhere in Worcester.
And I have heard that they're not reopening that tunnel due to structural concerns. That tunnel is ripe to me for some type of permanent,
Meeting last week and it was
like,
brought up that
I don't
it's
know,
been cut
booths.
already in summer programs.
Fucking-
Yeah, like Montreal Underground.
Yeah.
2/3.
A super tunnel.
Talked to the manager about it, and it seems to be a discrepancy.
Surrounded by trees.
I think this is the point. I think last year we ended up putting 1.5 million.
There's some trees in the a tree,
to,
a tunnel,
some youth
tunnel
program, if I
arboretum.
remember right. And so
Yeah, I just think like the
jobs are being cut,
Palladium's
the
block
social service
down to
agencies
like
that are out there doing the work.
the Armsby
Hire our youth.
are the places
We
where
offer
you'd
city
most
We hire a number of
already
people
have
in
foot
city Worcester,
traffic
and that's why I make sure
that
it's
is
there. If it's not
like
there, have the city manager
has like
police
restaurants on either end of it.
the report,
Um,
what the alternatives will be.
I think it could be. I think it could be decent. This is
I think I'm down, especially if those restaurants allow for food trucks to come in and to diversify the food offerings in that area.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Fred. See ya.
Item 10C, all those in favor?
Yo, respect to this
hanging
YouTube clown
tough.
comment.
Oh yeah.
Build apartments in the tunnel.
Okay, we're in 10D.
We had a party down there for powwow one year, and that shit was awesome.
That was great.
Oh yeah.
Safety situations.
We had to
staff
get
levels,
a giant cardboard shoe from West Nick down to the tunnel, and the only way we could figure out was to call a tow company. And the first question that the tow company asked was, "What kind of shoe is it?"
Okay, send that to the,
Like,
administration.
it's an Air Max, but I'm not sure why that matters.
E, request the senior notified council to report concerning any existing railroad policy regarding transporting hazardous waste materials into the city by train. Further request that the report include information relevant to the practices followed by CSX to ensure the safety of the residents during any such transportation. Councilmember Carlson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I put this order on because back when CSX was coming into the city of Worcester, as we all know, there were several meetings.
She dressed as
many
Meatloaf.
neighborhood meetings, many business meetings, many meetings at
Just
the
a very
city
baggy
at
shirt.
City Hall. Part of those discussions was
If anyone seen the
that
leftovers?
we were not looking for CSX to be
Looking kind of like the cult in the leftovers.
using the rails for any toxic chemicals, of which CSX agreed.
Actually,
to
there is a screenshot from that
after
show.
The derailment.
You put a cigarette in her hand.
She
down
looked
in
just like the
Councilor
main woman
Hayes'
from
district,
the leftovers
given the fact
cult.
that was hazardous
Oh,
material.
what's her? I love that
wondering
actress.
What is the
Yeah, she's so good.
policies
Misery, dude.
on the railroad? And again,
Wait,
if
No,
I'm
it
thinking
was,
of.
CSX
I'm
cannot
getting two
transport
people confused.
any hazardous
Yeah, you're thinking of
materials,
Kathy
why
Bates.
is it
I was gonna
that
say one of you was
Yeah.
thinking of Kathy Bates.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
thinking
thinking of
of
Kathy Bates.
her name's Margot
We'll
something.
get a report on that.
Margot
Those in favor,
Martindale?
opposed, so
Margot
ordered.
Martindale is absolutely right.
F.
I only
Question
know of
made
Margot
request that
Martindale because of
Transportation
BoJack
Mobility reach out to the
Horseman.
appropriate representatives of the
Oh, yeah, they do
she's,
have
to
it.
determine the location. and
Yeah, she's a
facilitate the
wonderful
installation
character
of a
actress or
directional
actor.
She's
signage
in.
really is?
towards the school.
She's in Hereditary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I
She's
was approached
she
by
fucking
some
rocks,
folks from
dude.
Venerini Academy who had inquired about this, and so I hope that this can happen and happen relatively.
How many different style of crosses do you think
Send that to
Kate
the
owns?
manager. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Whatever
G,
makes her look the
request the
most
manager work with the Worcester Regional
Irish.
Transit Authority
I was gonna say it's
to provide
18th.
a report
I
back to
better
City Council
grab the
regarding
Celtic Knot one.
ridership, bus routes, and the potential
Dude,
for
me and Katie
installing
watched
additional bus stops and
Waking
shelters in
Ned
the city.
Divine
Further
last
request the
night.
manager
You guys ever
invite
seen
the
that
Worcester
movie?
Regional
God, I
Administrative Appeal
fucking
and
love
City
that
Council.
movie.
It is. It's
Council Bergman.
got to be top 10 movie of all
Thank
time.
you, Mr.
It's-
Chairman.
Yeah.
It
There's
is
been
so
some
good.
discussion
Good
tonight
lord.
about
Give me all that
walkways
you
and
fucking
we've
Waking
had,
Ned Divine you got.
Some subcommittee meetings
Yeah,
in which
dude.
road design
The
and so on and so
the
forth
naked
about to make
motorbike
Worcester
scene
an easier
is
place to get
iconic,
around
dude.
has come up, and the
Ah,
common
yeah.
denominator in all that to me, and I hope to others here, is that 83% of the people.
Have you ever
who drive
seen
individually or carpool
Local Hero?
to work? We have a bus system
Uh-uh.
that is free, which is good, and I've always
Also,
appreciated that,
it's not
always have.
it's not
It
Irish,
doesn't
but
seem to address
they're
the
I
needs
believe they're
of the
Scottish in that one.
community.
But it's the same kind of a thing. It's like a kind of out of the way,
My understanding hasn't met at all on this.
out of the way
And
kind of
the
place.
executive director
And
of
you know, a
the
bunch of
WRTA,
like quirky locals kind of a
his
deal.
predecessor had been called before the
But
appropriate
no one,
subcommittee
no one's ever seen it. No
He
one's
was
ever seen it.
and we
It's
challenged that
the only
person
two
with
cool things my dad ever like
concerns and suggestions.
impressed upon
We haven't
us
been able to
was
have that
that the
dialogue
movie Local
because
Hero
the
and the movie To
subcommittee
Live and Die in
hasn't
L.A.
met.
And
I
those
hear
are still
in
to
a
this
number of
day
different roles,
underappreciated, and they
substituting,
fucking
in
rule.
parking and traffic and DPW, many people who still feel, and I believe this to be accurate, that the bus routes don't meet the needs of the bus riders.
What's that guy's name?
That the shelters and bus stops
David Kelly.
don't meet the needs of those that want to use the WRTA.
No, you
And
don't use the WRTA.
Quite frankly,
I was gonna
it's
say,
long
do we think
overdue
Mo has
to have
ever
the
stepped foot on a
report
bus?
Directly from the.
He's just bringing this up because
person in charge of
two
the
chairs the
WRTA,
transportation subcommittee that
the
has no
administrator,
authority over
who's
this
relatively
whatsoever.
new, to let us know what's going on and to address some of the concerns and issues many people have.
He doesn't care
I know
about the bus.
myself
He's
and my
still
colleagues have
trying
brought
to
up issues
beat
such
up on
as,
two.
why aren't there
Mhm.
routes
Very transparent.
that directly address the top
God,
10
he sucks.
employers in the city of Worcester? And why are those routes, if they do exist, once a day? So if the bus is late, you show up to work late. That's not going to work for most people.
Also, the city
they're
itself has no
inefficient
authority
system.
in
And if we talk about walkable
in this.
No, just one
It's
seat
just
on the
one
board.
shareholder. Yeah.
Try to keep
Yeah,
less
one
cars
seat
on
on the
the road.
board.
We can't even have that conversation, in my opinion.
But why
Unless
would
we
you have the
address
conversation? There's
the
nothing
success of
to
the
be gained from it.
WRTA. And right
You
now,
have
there are
no
way too many
authority.
questions to even suggest that the WRTA, despite the fact it's fare free, is headed in the right direction. So, Mr. Chairman, if
What are you
if
talking
the
about? Ridership is
situation
up, dude.
continues on in that subcommittee, I would ask that when the report comes back from the city manager and the cooperation I'm assuming will exist with the administrator from the WRTA, that the appropriate subcommittee that meets can address these issues. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So send that to city manager. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. We are on communication, city clerk, transmitting information, communication, filling the 2 vacancies of the library board of directors. I think it's on April 8th. If you don't mind, could we amend that to April 15th to give more time for people to apply? Is that okay? Okay,
Bill, you
so
want to
it's
join the
amended.
library board?
Motions to accept. Those in favor,
No,
opposed,
they'll
so
never take me.
ordered. Report of the Committee on Economic Development, 13A to 13G, motion is to accept. Report of the Committee on Public Works, the motion is to accept. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 15A to 15 H, motion to advertise the proposed ordinances.
Mr. Chairman,
Excuse me?
15A, you said?
15A through 15H. That's from traffic and parking.
Okay, thanks.
So motion is to propose ordinance, advertise, a roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Agia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen? Councilor Ojeda?
Yes.
Councilor Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. 16A, referred to Economic Development Committee. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 16B to 16C, referred to all those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 17.
It's there.
17C,
I mean, you might be the only one on
roll call.
YouTube tonight, but we got a fair amount on the Twitch side.
Rich, you got to go on Twitch. That's where the people are.
Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Agia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen? Councilor Ojeda?
Yes.
Councilor Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Okay, we are on table under privilege.
Oh, great. Now we're going to talk about the open meeting law violation.
By council with a report detailing the impact of community benefits and Inflation Reduction Act may have on the city. Councilor King.
As it reads.
Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Communication city managers and information communication relevant to the open meeting law complaint of the Education Committee. I think the last one we said, Councilor.
I'd like to make a motion to send this to the Education Committee, please.
The Education Committee. Is that fine with everybody? Okay, Councilor Bergman.
Mr. Chairman, that should go to MO, and it shouldn't go to the very committee that's in the middle of this. The recommendation,
What do you-
I recall, was for the council to consider being sent to MO, and I'm willing to hear it. And my motion is to continue with the.
You're not willing to hear it. You're frothing at the mouth
I
to
think
hear
the
it.
recommendation was, I could be wrong, was MO and education together.
So
Is that-
that's the recommendation.
Come on, Rich, get on over.
The law states.
All your
that it
friends
should
are
be
here.
going to the body that needs to respond. So I'm asking, as the body whose allegations are lodged against, that it goes to the Education Committee so we can discuss it and respond as
Okay.
appropriately.
Council, Madam Solicitor, if you could pipe in, because I thought you had something different in the report, but.
Through the chair to the counselor, so the response has already been provided. The parent body is the city council, and when it was referred to the law department to provide a response, the response was provided to the complainant. They've received a response. It was a response that I sent you.
Madam Solicitor, through the chair, the Education Committee has not responded to the complainants. What I'm asking is that it goes to the committee as the law states, which is the committee that needs to formally respond to the complainants. If they're unhappy with the response, they can certainly go to the Attorney General's office. I'm just making sure that you're telling me that I can have this in the Education Committee to discuss as is appropriate.
So through the chair to the counselor, the law states that the public body has to respond or have an open meeting in which they
public
receive
body.
a complaint, and they respond either through council, through a city clerk, or through the chair. The city council is seen as like the parent body, so when the city council took a vote to refer it to the law department to respond, that happened.
Through the chair, if the former practice of city council has been that it doesn't take a specific complaint against a body to the appropriate body, that's not my fault. What I am specifically asking is, again, for the fourth time, that this goes to the Education Committee so we can discuss it appropriately, invite the complainants, have a discussion, and then respond.
Through the chair, I do not suggest inviting complainants, but the response has already had, the city council can refer this matter to the Education Committee. It's already been responded to, but it is an item that can be referred to the Education Committee if the council desires.
It's a public meeting, correct?
What is a public
The
meeting?
Education Committee is a public meeting?
Yes, all your meetings have to be
correct. So
in a public
anybody can come, including the complainants. That's all I meant. Again, I am asking as the chair of the education committee, this goes to the body whose complaint is lodged against, so we can address it, we can talk about it, and go from there.
Through the chair, I would defer to the mayor as to whether that's an appropriate method of referral.
Okay, so I think in the report you recommended. You wrap up your comments. Meeting on this. Can you talk to the AG about that?
Yeah, through the mayor, I did, and the recommendation was to have a joint meeting of the two committees because of the fact that the city council has specific rules as to what can be heard at a certain committee. However, just to clarify, the response has already been given to the complainants, so there's nothing really required at this point from anybody.
Okay, so we're going to do a combined meeting with the education and MO. Is that fine with everybody?
Let's all have a motion. You have to vote on that.
Roll call. Council, okay?
Yeah. Through the chair to the solicitor, can you just clarify when you say this has already been responded to and we've had this in this body as part of a public process?
Through the chair to the counselor. So the open meeting law complaints too that were lodged against the education committee came to the city council on February 25th. On that day, the city council, which the two members of the education committee were here and present and voted, were referred to the law department along with 3 other complaints to be responded to. I spoke with the chair of the education committee.
Oh, you could turn the sound pad up.
The complaints, sent them to the complainants.
Not necessary.
Last week,
Christ almighty.
Response to the complainants, and then
That's pretty loud.
if there's any further matters, it be discussed at a joint hearing between MLO and education.
And the other complaints regarding open meeting law, what happened to those?
They were responded in the same manner. They were sent to the complainants.
Which committee are they going to?
Through the chair, I believe they were all against the city council for locked doors and minutes, so there's no committee.
So it's not going to a committee, but
There's not a locked door committee?
Through the chair, you could have it go to the, municipal operations committee.
Okay, so out of all of those complaints, the only ones that we're discussing at this time, just for clarification, is the ones pertaining to the education committee.
Through the chair, that's correct, because there was an order by you asking for a report.
A report on what the response was.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I said this last week. There's really not much to discuss here. We haven't heard from the Attorney General. Any discussion regarding this would be premature. And if folks want to bring something forward, that the Attorney General makes a decision or a response, I would certainly support, a process for that. But this right here, Mr. Chairman, is a process that the solicitor has been responsive. This council responded by sending it over. I don't see really what's going to happen in committee other than, a political tennis match going back and forth. But if that's the will of the council, so be it. I certainly don't support it. I look forward to a response from the Attorney General if they feel that that's necessary.
So motion right now, I guess, is Council Priscilla?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I ask the Madam Solicitor a question? Sorry.
Oh, you thought you were done.
So every single
that's the
public
best
body,
stab.
including subcommittees, are responsible for their own adherence to the open meeting law. Through the chair to you, is that correct?
Madam Solicitor?
Through the chair, correct. Public bodies are to comply, or individuals that are part of a public body must comply with the open meeting law.
Okay, so, but then a different subcommittee, regardless of its purview, they can't respond on behalf of another subcommittee.
Through the chair, correct.
Okay, so I guess
So
I
then
just
what are
am a
we
little
fucking
confused
doing
on
here?
this as well. And I just want to do the right thing, whatever is fair. That's all. Thank you.
So through the chair, the response on behalf of the education committee has been sent, and I had a conversation with the chair, and I received a memo of facts. It is not going anywhere for a response because the response has already been provided. It's not going to another committee.
Councilor Russell?
So then why is it going to MO?
Correct.
Because Mo wants it.
To do what with it?
To have a meeting about it and be a little petty bitch, just like he just did with the bus report.
Any of these allegations.
To be a little fucking.
Through the chair, any public statement they want.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the motion is to send it to, well, I think the recommendation is to send it to both committees as a combined hearing.
Through the chair, or the item can be filed. There's nothing. The only reason why it's back before you.
We can't file it.
The only reason why it's back before you is because Councilor King asked for a report.
Yeah.
There's really nothing at this point to discuss.
Right.
Motion to file, Mr. Chairman.
We took that vote last week, so it's 90 days. Yeah. So, so the motion is to send it to both committees for a combined hearing.
Why isn't it Tel's motion to send it to
So,
education?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I know it's not going to happen, but point of order, if the no's, if they're successful over the yeas, isn't that filing it?
We'll get to that when we take
Okay,
the vote.
we're not going to get there, but okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr.
Roll
Chairman,
call.
just a quick point of order. If it's a joint committee, both chairmen have to call it, right?
Yeah, you have to be together, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What the fuck? This is so fucking. I can't. I just can't fucking.
So to send it to both committees, Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
No.
Council King?
No.
Council Mora Carlson? Yes. Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
No.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Okay. So we are on 18C. The motion is to advertise the order of Council Russell, requesting the Standing Committee on Public Works hold a meeting to draft a policy relative to creation of ordinary street names. Said policy should include but not be limited to what or who should be eligible for the ordinary street names, whether the policy should be limited to the Worcester residents, past Worcester residents, whether business names should be included, causes that would justify passage. of
You got
ordinary street
warned
names,
for
title,
talking?
and whether passage should be limited to a certain number of years.
Who
decades,
warned
or
you?
Centuries that the entity gained notoriety.
Was it Mo?
For a request that the city manager requests city.
I'm gonna
staff
Nico.
to
That bitch
works
right in the-
and Parks, provide guidance and recommendations of the best practices used in municipalities. I said meaning to add the committee in drafting the ordinary street name policy, recommended passage of company ordinance.
Joe.
Council Russell? Oh, Council King, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a quick question to the administration, to the solicitor. With regards to this particular ordinance, did you have any input in this? My understanding this came from the prior solicitor. Did you have any input into this through the chair?
Madam Solicitor?
Through the chair of the council, I did not.
Through the chair to the solicitor, would you be willing to provide input if requested by this body?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, you know, my motion would be to send this back to the solicitor. I appreciate the work of the body. However, I did want to take a closer look at this. You know, this was not in our packet last week. That, you know, was the physical packet. I appreciate it. This one does not include the past ordinance for cross-reference. But I have a number of questions here and want to make sure that our current solicitor has some input in this, Mr. Chairman. So that would be my motion.
Send it to the
It's got
administration.
beefy kisses. You got beefy kisses.
Council Russell?
I smell like beef.
Chairman, this item is.
I smell like beef.
Before the committee had.
What did you do?
Casual back and forth with the former city solicitor, Mr. Trainer, as well as former acting commissioner, Bob Moylan. Made some recommendations. We had a conversation back and forth about the process and who we thought should be there. These are meetings that were clearly on the agenda of the Public Works Committee that was sent around to all of us. This is an item that Councilor King held last week had an opportunity, it was in the package.
Tolerates me.
If the council had questions or
Right.
whatever.
He's a good
they-
bug.
The council had ample time.
Oh,
to
George
do it.
Seption.
Ask them questions, the item is something that we've gone around and around and around on, and I'm ready to move it and to advertise the item tonight, and I'm not going to vote to hold the item up any longer. This is just to advertise it. It's an ordinance, but like any other ordinance, it could be amended at any time in the future. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So the first motion is to send to the law department, the administration/law department. If that fails, then the motion would be to advertise. So the first motion is to send to administration. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Wait, Roman's a puppet?
Council King?
Yes.
Council
No. You guys didn't see that.
You guys were supposed to find out like this.
Roman's not a puppet.
Council Russell?
No.
He's a real dog.
Toomey?
Yes. I mean, no, sorry.
And Mayor Petty?
No. Next is advertise. Roll call.
Sorry, Roman's a real owner.
Councilor.
I'd like to offer an amendment. We can amend this, right?
I think so, yeah. Councilor King.
Mr. Chairman, I'm particularly disappointed that we're not allowing our sitting city solicitor to take a look at this.
What?
I'm going to point out a couple of things.
What are they talking
and then
about
make
now?
the appropriate
I got lost in Dogland.
recommendations or
I'm
motions.
on it.
And we as a body
I just want to say he's a real dog, everybody, okay?
appreciate the work of community. There will be
He's a real
times
dog.
that
He's
we
not
are
a
in
he's not a
agreement,
puppet. There's no
Mr. Chairman, and I
there's
do
no
have
man
some
behind the
concerns
curtain.
about this.
It's not a hired actor in a dog suit
just
that
gonna
you pay a
begin
lot of
with,
money to hang around your house.
Jess doesn't puppeteer him. He's not just the top half of a
Added
dog.
to this particular
Jess definitely doesn't. The
ordinance is the condition that a street name
I mean, yeah,
must
definitely not
be
that.
addressed to current residents or residents. And what was deleted was that you'd have the opportunity for an honorary street name designation.
Opportunity.
Oh,
by
they're talking about
individuals who
honorary
made
street
significant
names. Get the fuck
contributions
out
to
of
the city,
here.
state,
Have we
nation,
done
or
street
world.
sweeping yet?
For
Yeah, we're
example,
past that. This is like the
this
last
did they?
thing.
particular, ordinance.
They
we
they
will
went
not
they
have
went
a
that
Martin Luther
they went
King
by that without
Boulevard
talking about that at
in
all.
the city of Worcester, Mr. Chairman. We did a street naming for
June's
an
been camera shy
Albanian
lately.
leader
Doesn't like coming in here when
from
I'm
that
out.
country.
Sorry.
Just a year ago. This particular ordinance
Fucking June.
eliminates that option
Fucking June.
by
That
language.
stuck up
And I
bitch.
wanted the solicitor to confirm that. The solicitor has not had any input on this. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, the old ordinance spoke to the fact that the city council, the designation is proposed through a petition filed with the city council. This really focuses on
No more fake
a
puppies.
district council notified prior to submission.
She's giving them all up for adoption.
For a petition, which is really, delaying and
There's
making the
a lot of
process
dog.
require additional steps, Mr. Chairman. There's also special consideration given to district councilors.
It's a really good costume, guys. I'm
Regarding
impressed.
street naming. In addition
Dog-like
to that,
things.
Mr. Chairman, the unveiling event and honorary street name must be planned.
Jess
through
did win a
said
costume
district
contest this
councilor.
weekend
Nice.
at the Purim show
the,
on Saturday.
That's awesome.
City
She dressed as a
council
vacant lot and won first
And what
prize in the
that does,
costume
it
contest.
creates division
Wow.
Hell yeah,
among
Jess.
councilors
Congratulations.
Do we have some
you know,
some?
and
Is
I'm
there a
not quite
picture
sure
anywhere?
what this
Can we
means.
see what a
Photo
vacant lot
evidence
looks like?
off?
that
I don't know if we
look at
do.
committees and,
To find one.
I only saw pictures
committees
of
that
Juji Diamondstone
have
as the smiley face,
district councilors
which
in all three
was
positions. You can
fucking
imagine
fantastic.
how some of this stuff may perhaps slip
Yeah,
by.
I had
And,
a
perhaps
birthday
it's
party
it's
for my
unintentional.
mom, so I
My
couldn't go. I
motion,
was
Mr.
kind of bummed,
Chairman,
but I had a nice
would
time.
be,
But
that wherever it says
Happy
district
birthday,
council
Mom.
says city council.
I think that that's such an
so that
awesome
the whole of the body
thing that they
is
did,
involved
and I
with
hope they do
this.
more events like that.
At-large councilors, the mayor.
100%.
Those districts are also our districts with our representation. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that the language be stricken relating to must be a past or current resident of the city, and that the honorary street name delegation subsection B that was there previously be returned, that in order to allow for folks who have made significant contributions to the city, state, nation, or world. You know, we don't know what that might look like in the future.
You and Trebler have the same mom bill?
Certainly that can be amended at any time. But again,
Well,
this sort of
that would
narrowing
mean that our
we would
had
not
to
have
have
Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
the same.
And
Which
you know,
is
I don't think that that's
kind of crazy. Kind of crazy if that's
as
the
city.
case.
And the idea of a district counselor having to be notified prior to a submission even being
Let me check the Worcester
petition
Have a
even
Right
being
Instagram.
submitted. We go through the clerk. There's no
Seems like the place
you
where
know,
they would be
requirement
most likely.
that someone begs a district counselor or notifies them. They notify the body through the clerk's office via petition. And I would ask that that language be stricken in my motion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council Bergman, followed by Council Russell.
Just rise, because I know which way I'm going to be voting on this. And I don't
Chris,
want my vote
I
to be
have
misinterpreted
4
by
sound
something my
effects now.
colleague said.
Oh, Mo Bergman's
MLK
talking.
Boulevard, just like Major General, not honorary street names. So they would have no impact on how we vote on this. I just want to make that absolutely clear, that designating a street name for somebody that's done
This is
amazing things throughout the United
this
States.
is
not gonna be
Juju's smiley
affected.
face
But what will
costume.
be affected is
I
the
can't find
changes
any
that were
other
made by the
pictures, but
subcommittee. And I can say that I suspect a lot of those changes were made by hard lessons learned. I'm going to defer to the subcommittee, and as an at-large council, I have no issue at all with them making those decisions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council Russell, for the second time.
Mr. Chairman, Council Bergman must have read my mind, or the MLK Boulevard or any other street that anyone wants to name after anyone would go through a whole separate process for street naming. MLK Boulevard is not an honorary street name. You know, these items also ask for the mayor's office to be included in the process when there's an event. And that's the whole thing, is that these items, the intent of the committee is to have these go through a council. It could be an at-large council can propose it, but he's got to communicate with the district council and have a conversation with the folks that are presenting the item. That's all it's really asking for, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman, again, these are all things that we had on the agenda. I mean, all of us get all the notices. Everybody was welcome to come to all these hearings we had.
Okay. Council King for the second time.
The language that was stricken from the honorary name designation was from individual groups that have distinguished themselves by significant contributions to the city, state, nation, or world, may be so honored. And again, we had an honorary street naming of a leader from the Albanian community who, from Albania, that we would not be able to honor. We were recognized all over the place for that, Mr. Chairman. And again, to cut out and create a hierarchy of counselors is not something that creates any sort of unity here. We are elected, at large is elected and has representations in each district. And, you know, I stand by my motions. Thank you.
Okay, so we have 2 motions here. One is to substitute district counselor to all counselors, and also section.
the only thing that stinks about this is that I'm limited to 4 sounds
Worcester residents.
Can we take them collectively?
without
Yeah,
going in and
collectively.
manually changing
On a roll
them.
call.
Even though it's
So
not that
yes
hard to
vote
do.
Would be to pass the amendments, and no vote would be.
And we do sit here for hours on end, so I suppose I could have
Council
more
Bergman?
No.
Council
sort of
Caloria?
in the
No.
queue,
Council Agia?
ready to
Yes.
go.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Member Carlson? No. Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
No.
Council Toomey?
No.
And Mayor Petty?
No.
Mr. Mayor, that fails.
Mr. Chair,
So the motion is to Councilor Hajian.
I'd like to take 19G and put it back.
I have like I can have up to
We're
like
still on this
50.
item here.
Really?
We're still on this item.
Yeah.
We're still on.
I got a lot of dumb ones.
The motion is to advertise. Roll
You
call.
guys hear that?
What was that?
So, Mr. Mayor, the
Uncut
advertised
jobs.
policy is
Uncut
presented
jobs.
From the Public Works Committee. Council Bergman? Yes. Council Coloria?
Yes.
Council
Your
Adjei?
rapid requirements.
Council King?
For an episode of
Council Moore
It's Human
Carlson?
Time.
Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
No.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Dangerous.
Petty.
Yes.
Those are my Hubie Halloween ones.
Reconsideration.
Reconsideration. Roll call.
So it's really
Council
that big a
Bergman?
deal, George?
Council Coloria?
No.
Council Adjei?
No.
Council King?
No.
Council Moore Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
No.
Council Pasillo?
No.
Council Russell?
No.
Council Toomey?
No.
And Mayor Petty.
The reconsideration tradition on this Worcester City Council is insane.
Okay. 19G.
It's
the
like
motion is to
totally
go off the
meaningless.
table. That's 19G.
Dude, Jeff was the best. I miss that guy.
Jeff?
Wormtown Taxi.
Oh.
So, Mr. Mayor, 19G is off the table.
Were you around when he was doing his thing, Bill?
I don't. No, I don't think so. No.
Old school, like probably like 15 year ago vlogger, but he was a taxi driver in the city, and like
Is it off the table
yeah,
for
just
right now or
observational
for-
writings about the city, like mostly mundane stuff, but just the nicest guy.
So you need 6 votes to take it off.
Is
the
that
table.
archived anywhere?
Council
I think the
Bergman?
blog
No.
spots should still be up.
Council Coloria?
No.
It was
Council
called
Adjei?
Wormtown Taxi.
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Moore Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
No.
Council Toomey?
I think about him every time that I go to the Lincoln Square Five Guys.
Mr. Mayor, that
Do
fails.
you remember when that place opened? He did like a review of like
Is this the end
$5
of the
hamburgers
meeting?
in the area,
Motion is to
and
adjourn. Those in favor?
it's just so
Opposed?
novel to me, the idea that it wasn't that long ago that a fucking hamburger at Five Guys cost $5 in the first place.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, there we go. Here's my response to that meeting.
That meeting was fucking. I just can't believe how goddamn that fucking shit was. That was crazy.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. What did we learn? What did we learn today? Mo Bergman, a little bitch, but we knew that. Sound effects fun. Sound effects cool. Roman possibly not a real dog.
Not true. I just want to.
It's confirmed. It's confirmed that it's an actor in a dog suit. I
Stop
cannot be
saying that.
convinced otherwise.
Stop saying that, everybody.
I'm gonna find out their name.
You have to
The actor's name.
I'm gonna run for president so that in 2080 I can release the Roman files.
Guess what, pal? There's 19,000 pages. So
I'm not being mean, Jess. I'm just being but Roman's a good boy. He's a real dog. Don't be putting that rumor out there, people.
Roman's a real dog. Okay. Don't
Is
make
a
me
real
make
boy.
t-shirts.
Admit it. Is a real boy.
I can't. I don't know.
You
I
know,
saw
I
too much
can-
tonight.
I
Are you
can
just
get-
doing Say Anything songs now?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's a real boy.
I called her on the phone and she herself. Anyway.
What is the updated list of at-large people running?
I only have the list from
Jerma.
Friday. We have Jermo. I will never be able to pronounce that name right. Jermo Kamara. And what else? Hold on.
Yeah, Maria who? Troubler.
Oh, roll biz.
That's fucking awesome, Gio.
I'm seeing your dinner order. That's not crazy. That's sad.
What's the dinner order?
He door dashed pepperoni crazy puffs.
I don't know what's sad about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. I have a look at this. Look at this. I have a drive file with all the latest. Well, this is from Friday, so it's if they pulled papers on Monday or today, then I don't have it because I have to ask someone in the clerk's office for it every single time I'm like, do you have a list today? And she's like, there you go. I'm like, thank you. A daily interaction that I'm having. So we have city council at large. We have Charles Luster, Caden Davis, very sick, Christian King, David Webb, boo, Shaun Rose, Dr. Satya Mitra, Bernard Iandoli, who I'm not sure who that is. Dr. Satya Mitra is a Chamber of Commerce plant.
He has so much money already.
So much money.
His son is an incredible comedian.
Really?
Yeah.
What's his son's name?
He's one of Shaun's friends. Why am I blanking on his first name right now? God, Alingon Mitra. He was on Last Comic Standing a while ago. He's great.
Oh, no way.
He did Woot Nanny a few years ago. Yeah.
Cool. Well, maybe he should run.
Yeah.
Father
You gotta
versus
be a resident.
son. Oh yeah, right. That's true. You're very right about that. Donna Claudio, K. Toomey, Joe Petty, Morris Bergman, all the incumbents are running again, unfortunately. We have Gemma Kamara, who will have my vote for sure. And still need to reach out and talk to her about her campaign. She was on school committee 2 terms ago before the reform to a district system, which was supposed to bring us greater representation, put Diana Biancaria back in business. And then Awura Kwaku Sarkodie, who I think pulled papers last time but did not get on the ballot. I see Chris has an updated list that he didn't share with me. Thank you so much. Maria Montano. That is a familiar name. Edson Montero ran for District 5 last time.
Right.
Didn't do very well. So Diancaria dye her hair blonde. That would be something else if that was true. School committee meeting in a while, but Benyenda.
Benenda's running for at-large school committee. She's not running for fucking mayor.
No. She pulled papers for at large.
Wow, what a win!
That was on Thursday that happened. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is wrong with her?
She's going back to school committee.
Great. Fine.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever. Fuck you. District 3 is John Frizzolo, Rob Pizzella, Jason Diaz, who I just learned is a turtle rider.
Nice.
Oh no.
It has done benefit cupcake sales for the Free Karen Reed movement. And then Fianna Jatansing, who is the obvious choice for District 3. But Fianna also pulled for School Committee District C against Diana Biancaria. So it's like, Fianna, take your pick. Rob Pizzella or Diana Biancaria is kind of the same person, but I feel like you'd have an easier time in District C School Committee. But
what district did Nelly pull for?
Nelly is in District E. District E, School Committee, where there's another candidate running who people have spoken highly about to me. I haven't dug into it too much, but it seems like we have 2 good challengers for District E against Kathy Roy, which, if I had complete planning control of this, I'd tell one of them to run for something else, but I don't. So,
Troubler, what's this story? I'm assuming this is related to her Fianna pulling papers for both. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no one knows that she pulled for both besides us. So
Yeah, and anyone who just listened to the last 2 minutes of this.
Fiona's cool though. Fiona's
yeah, I like Fiona.
She was great in the last race, and a lot of public comments in the last few months that have been awesome. I think did you guys see her at the roast? I thought I saw her at the roast, but
yeah, she was there.
Oh yeah.
Her.
We love it. We always nice to meet a fan. Yeah, I mean, I mean, good for her either way, whatever she wants to do. I'd like to see someone of her caliber in D3 as a candidate.
Because D3 is a mess right now.
Yeah.
We got Mr. PP Man. We got Mr.
PP Man.
We got Mr. PP Man. We got Mr. Suspend All Latinos. And we have a Turtle Rider. District 3 sucks. I'm gonna miss.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him. What can I say? I'm gonna miss George.
It feels like Jermo would have walked into D3.
They've struggled.
Rob Pizzella has that on lock. I'm pretty sure. I would put money right now on Rob Pizzella winning that.
Yes, he has to screw that up really bad not to win it.
Well, let's see.
And there's time. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but
yeah,
if we can help.
You could always become Mr. PP Man too, you know. But I feel like those sorts of it's everything's on the table now. You that wouldn't end your campaign.
No.
Like it would get you off of a state.
It would get you an OnlyFans sponsorship.
Yeah, right.
Times have changed.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. All right.
I think it's a good place to leave for tonight. Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah, take a look. If you're a subscriber, if you go into your subscriber benefits, you should see a link there to for our Discord. If it's not working tomorrow, send me a message on the Instagram, and we'll see if we need to troubleshoot it a little bit more. But you just got to link your Twitch and Discord accounts. And then we got some channels there. We got some show discussion. We got some Worcester discussion in general. We have a pizza review channel. We have a ice cream review channel. The important parts of this show.
Mm-hmm.
There's a meme channel if you want to post memes or request memes for other people to make. And I think those are our main things: pizza and ice cream and memes. And that's really what the discussion needs to be for the most part. So
do we even need to watch the city council anymore?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No. I don't think so. Yeah. So make sure that you're.
Oh.
What?
Nope. You do your thing. I just need to press the buttons. Make sure that we're doing what?
I wasn't even going to say that one yet. I was just going to say
shit.
Set up for that because there are some. That one benefit, obviously, ad-free viewing. You don't get random ads thrown in during your Twitch stream. So subscribe and make sure that you're also subscribed to billshaner.substack.com for Worcester Sucks, and I love it. WorcesterSucks.email at Worcester_sucks for all of your Bill Shaner and Shaun Connolly needs. The joke about Shaun about how once a week you let him pretend to be a writer was
once a year he lets me to pretend to be a comedian. Once a week I let him pretend to be a writer. Yeah,
fantastic. Go back and watch the roast again. Make sure that you donate to Trans Lifeline. You can do it if you go to @WootWinning There will be a link there. I will add another story about it tonight. Throw some money their way. We're going to be donating. I'd like to get over $2,000. So it'd be fun to be able to do that. So throw some money to that donation link. Follow at WCT3000 on Instagram for us. Send us any messages, send us any fun memes, or send us a story that you heard about that you want to maybe share anonymously. We won't dox you, but we will talk shit on your behalf about anybody in this dumbass city.
That's right.
Anybody else got anything to plug?
Yeah, come down on the. Thank you, everyone.
Come to Hot Dog this Friday night at Coney Island. It's a free show. It starts at 8:00, and it's going to be a great time. And we got the Sort of Late show coming up next week on the 28th at Off the Rails. Tickets are available on Off the Rails website, or again, go to our link in bio for those. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. We love you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.